Good afternoon and welcome to the Dota 2 Noob stream. I'm Beetle001 and I'm here to coordinate this, our merry band of casters for today. Festivities is probably a better word than cast. Now, we chose the name Noob stream not only because we're going to try and make these casts easy to understand for those that are either new to Dota or new to watching Dota 2. But we also called this the Noob stream because we're kind of noobs too. And if you want something a little more seriousness, if you want something a little more serious, or if you're more familiar with the game and watching Dota 2, you might want to head over to stream 1. You can search Mega8 on YouTube and you'll find it there. We'll, of course, keep you updated with anything that happens during the day on the other streams. Joining me today, the infamous, I don't even know what the word is for 5 people, quad plus 1 cast. I mean, if we put all the South African esports personalities into a cement mixer, turned it on, and poured out the cement, this is basically what you'd be left with. Let's introduce them. First up, Hearthstone caster, Penguin ZA. Welcome.
Hi.
As our official cosmetics consultant for the stream. Tell your viewers about your experience in Dota 2.
Yep. My experience in Dota 2, bots and about 8.5 hours. I have also watched the noob stream of the International, so I do know my way around a little bit, but that's about as far as it goes.
Next, CSGO caster, Gmax, who will be our play-by-play caster. Gmax, welcome. Give us your introduction to your experience in Dota 2, professional broadcasting.
Yeah.
And like a good fart, silent but deadly, Sargon, our stats man. This is your one and only chance to speak today.
That was probably one of the best introductions I've ever had. Thank you very much.
I mean, at least, yeah. I do appreciate that he took the time to grow. Fantastic. Sargon, you're actually involved in Dota 2, so we're getting a little better with our talent. Position yourself as one of our experts for today.
Well, I basically collect and run stats for all the major tournaments that's done across the country for Dota 2. So I've pretty much have every major game that's been played in the country over the course of the year, from pre-7 to post-patch 7. I've got all the stats. I also used to play semi-professionally for Mythic Gaming. Yeah.
Cheeky soft plug.
Yes. Yeah, semi. Strong. And lastly, the only one of us that has any real Dota 2 credentials is Prophecy, our analyst, and our probably most knowledgeable, actually, I'm not even going to say probably, our definitely most knowledgeable person today when it comes to Dota 2.
I don't know, Rain's got a pretty good shot there.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, okay, so you think that Reigns is on par with your Dota knowledge?
Probably. I mean, okay, so for those that don't know me, I used to attempt to cast a couple of DGCs.
You didn't tell me this.
Oh, didn't you know?
What?
So yeah.
Why am I playing with this professional? I don't understand what you guys have done here.
I've tried to, like do a couple of Dota casts, cast DGC a couple of times, and this year I've been mostly out of the Dota scene. Unfortunately, I've been working over in Valve's Stepchild, the game known as CS:GO. So back to my first love, and let's see how well she's going to treat me today.
And then our surprise guest, who we are absolutely thrilled that could be with us today for some of the games, apart from a quick airport trip that he might have to make later. Reigns,
Unfortunately.
our apparently most knowledgeable Dota personality, and probably the person who's cast Dota most recently amongst this group, or at all,
Yeah, well, thanks. As Prophecy said, did a lot of I did more analyst work this year, but started off as a main caster. But yeah, looking forward to this. This looks really fun.
And now you know who we are.
Scared.
Let's get into our first game of the day,
I'm
which is a best of 3.
scared.
We have Damage Control facing off against Energy Esports. Sean, Damage Control, newest team, not a huge amount of success so far, but some say some potential.
Yeah, I mean, Damage Control has very much seemed like the local train station this year. Our players stop by there for a couple of moments and then pass on to better things, it seems. So this DC's lineup has been together, I mean, I wouldn't say very long, but they played at DGC, did pretty well there, and hopefully we can expect onwards and upwards from the team in general.
And obviously, Esports, much more familiar, more experienced players.
Yeah.
We're expecting an Energy win, I think is fair to say. But we're also hoping that Damage Control can give us a bit of a show.
Yeah, Energy.
Well,
No, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna butt in there and say, if we're gonna be very, very honest, I think we're all probably expecting Energy to 2-0 this. But Damage Control, people like Fenner, Alex, Death Reverend, they've all been around the Prem scene for well over a year and a half, 2 years now. So these are good, established tier 2 players just breaking into that Masters, that Masters level. So they could pull an upset, but unlikely, I think.
Okay, so the game is just about to start, so we're about to get into our draft. Any final thoughts on predictions? Anything apart from a 2-0? Anybody going to take a chance and give DC some credit?
I'm going to give DC some hope. I'm going to give DC some hope. That's what I do when it comes to shoutcasting. I've got some DC. I'm going to start the DC hope. It's for Death Raven.
Yeah, well, let's see.
It looked like the game just died a bit there.
I think Gmax is going to be the local Burning Red. He's going to be the guy calling hopes and dreams. The underdogs today, but I do expect. I think Energy probably should take it. Quality of the players on that team should pull them through.
I feel like DC needs a little bit of hope there, and I'm kind of going to go with you guys, knowing absolutely nothing. I feel that DC are coming in here with better cosmetics, and I feel that they might be able to get them a win. But I mean, we've got our analysts here that will be able to at least explain to us what's going to be happening in the creature select, as it looks like we're going into there now.
Did you just call it the creature selector?
The creature selection.
Yeah. Elliot.
Yep.
Right, so this
Creature selection.
I mean, pick ban has been, for anybody that's been watching the top level CS, we've seen a lot of Vipers, we've seen a lot of Pugner as well. So I'd expect something along those lines. Oh, but never mind, we're going to see the good old South African Lich removed from play. This is probably South Africa's most famous hero pick, that and Bounty Hunter. If you've played any South African game ever, that's about an 80% chance.
So let's just step it back for a second, since we are talking a noob stream. Let's sort of give a quick rundown of how the draft actually works and what we're actually looking at here, in case people haven't seen a draft before.
Okay, so basically, I mean, what will happen is teams take it in turns to ban and pick heroes in phases. Pretty much assemble their lineup of 5 heroes or creatures, as Penguin calls them. Basically,
Creatures.
Basically, you're trying to either eliminate something that the other team is really strong with, or you're trying to pick a draft that you know works well together for your team. It's quite a strategic part of Dota, I'd say. It's fundamental. It's like the IGL role. You can't do without.
Yeah, it's basically like picking a set of tools to do a job with. Yeah. So, Energy and Bravado is going to go through the bans quickly. We have a Lich removed first from Energy. We're going to then see what is probably the strongest hero on the patch in terms of competitive play. That'll be the Venomancer. We're going to then see a removal on DC side of the Spirit Breaker, good charging Cow, and finally they're going to be removing Necrophos. Out there we have a Sand King and a Night Stalker are our first picks. And Darkseer is going to be DC's second pick, so strong offlane there presence.
Yeah, that Darkseer offlane can handle itself really well. An Ion Shield.
Ion Shell should be pretty solid. I mean, he's not...
Shell,
yeah.
sorry.
I can't see him doing a hell of a lot against the lane. He's probably going to just hang around, try and get some farming experience. Energy going to grab themselves a Bane and a Night Stalker. So team of Darkness and Nightmares, strong with the boys.
So let's talk quickly about team composition while we're waiting for the draft to get properly underway. What do captains generally try and aim for in a draft? What sort of team composition are we looking to get out of a draft?
I think it's entirely dependent on what you're trying to do in that specific Dota game. I mean, if you're trying to take down towers, you might see a Lycan and well as a Rasta picked up Shadow Shaman. It all depends. There's a lot of split push that would go down with the Nature's Prophet being picked up. Get sort of those more, what they call cheese strats, I think they call them.
I mean, again, like I said, it's like picking a set of tools. Any set of tools can do the job. It's just how do you want to get there. And Energy's actually gone for some very, very strong early game potential there, like very, very potent ganking ability. So they're going to be able to place a lot of pressure on damage control early on. Damage control have 2 heroes that have good escape and are very, very good in 5 versus 5 engagements. But in general, it looks as though Energy is just trying to make certain that their early game goes a little bit better. Damage control not going to have that luxury. I have a Viper band out and a Bloodseeker, again very popular heroes in the current scene. Energy going to be removing those 2. Damage control, we are going to remove a set of 2 carry heroes. That'll be the Juggernaut removed and Life Stealer as well. Damage control's picker is up next, so probably going to be looking to, I would assume, grab their second support here. You don't really want to be giving away your mid laners or your carries too early.
Yeah, so we kind of see people sort of try and focus on their support heroes, like you said. Mirana going to be picked up here. A nice roam.
No, that's more likely going to be the mid laner here.
Okay.
We have seen quite a bit of Mirana played recently by Sumail this weekend at PGL, so Mirana's been pretty solid, a good all-round hero. It really just depends how they're going to build her. We've recently seen them start building more flat attack rate rather than the old build of picking up a couple of items that allow her to farm faster. And Puck, also very, very popular pick.
Yeah.
So Puck is a bit of an odd one. He can be moved to different lanes. He can either be played as an off-laner or as the mid-laner.
So it gives them a little bit of variation and allows them to still adapt to whatever is going to get thrown out. And I see that damage control actually picks up a Disruptor. That's a very nice support to have, especially when it comes down to when people are TPing in and you can just send them back to base.
Also a very, very good hero, especially against Puck and against something like the Night Stalker. Both heroes are fairly mobile and
you've got the ability to lock them down, correct? And your ultimate also just silences in that area as well.
Fantastic against Puck. Puck is very, very different. Disruptor, very good overall pick here against all 3 of those heroes on Energy side. And Energy, they're going to go with
Oh.
the Monkey King. So again, Energy's still kind of hiding their lanes pretty well here. Puck and Monkey King can be moved to
Sort of
different lanes.
interchangeable,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen Monkey King play this weekend alone. I think I've seen him play all 3 primary lanes as a carry, as a mid, and as an offlaner. So Energy really hiding the strats here. I would assume. I haven't seen Chosen One play Monkey King, but I would think it is in his wheelhouse. ACG probably also the more likely one. Monkey King offlane, I don't really think we'll see that much.
Okay, and Monkey King
We're
very.
going to see a Puck maybe going to offlane instead then?
Possibly. I think Puck is more
So
likely the
offlane Puck,
offlaner.
and then we have the dual supports, Knight, Stalker, and Bane. And then have the Monkey King go mid and still pick a carry from this for
Yeah,
Energy.
so they still definitely are looking to find a carry here. And what carry do you think Energy's up with that kind of a line?
Well, I mean, Monkey King does quite a bit of damage by himself, so maybe he just wants to be fairly active. Weaver is a possibility here, and he is pretty good. No, he's not going to be great against the Disruptors.
Gonna just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think you'd want something that does a little bit of damage here, because Monkey King isn't really going to be putting out damage early. Like, he can certainly build into that, but I think you just like a little bit of ability to fight early on. So I think that's going to be a brute. Okay, never mind. Energy has just gone full terrible. So that means that Puck is going to be a mid laner, Monkey King is going to be the safe laner, and Broodmother
in the off lane.
That's just. I feel dirty now. I want to go take a shower, please. That's horrible.
What sort of strategy is there to leaving a pick like that to last? I mean, how much importance is there in your pick order, so to speak, picking a carry last or picking a carry first?
I think it's what they sort of did there was they gave themselves the ability to sort of interchange their draft by picking up a Puck that could have been a mid or an off lane. Monkey King, of course, also interchangeable, and just bring out the Broodmother, which I haven't seen Brood played a lot recently, but quite a destructive, very push-intensive hero. Once up her spiderlings, can take down towers and get around the map really quickly. So very nice little hero pick coming out of EXdee.
I mean, G-Max was mentioning earlier like a cheese strat. Now, cheese is basically, it's like a very linear strategy that if you haven't prepared for it, becomes very, very difficult to actually deal with. Broodmother is right up that alley. That's why you'll often see her picked almost to the last, because if you haven't got a good way of dealing with her abilities, she can become a huge problem for any team to deal with. And if you look at damage control, they don't actually have many ways of controlling her. About the only way they do have is to either try and run Doxia against her.
I was going to say the Doxia maybe.
Or maybe Sand King, but either of those two heroes is still going to have a lot of trouble against her.
And a Bristleback going to be the last pickup from DC there.
That's also a good hero against Broodmother, but he's going to need to do well in his early stages. Towards the mid game,
going to be a little bit stronger,
Yeah, he should be a big problem for Broodmother to deal with. But in general, I think she's got a very, very good early start here for Energy.
Yeah, I feel like the Bristleback was picked as like the second best of Venomancer.
Yeah.
I mean, the Veno was banned really early. I think the Brood, not the Broodmother, but the Bristleback can do exactly what it can do, especially in early game.
Yeah. So I think I like Energy's lineup a little bit more. Like, I have a clear idea of what they're going to do. Damage control, they've gone for a lot of team fight here, but I think that they are prone to getting run over in the lanes. Like, their ganking power isn't fantastic. Disruptor is like okay as a lane support and okay as a ganker, but I think in general he's much better in team fights than the rest. And Sand King's also going to need a little bit of time to get up and running. So
Energy's going to need a lot of coordination here to draft all successfully. It should be quite nice for.
Yeah, I think if Energy has a good start.
Yeah, Energy's early game is probably going to be a lot nicer for them. You're gonna do the camera work for us.
I'm gonna try.
Okay, Prof's gonna attempt to do the camera work.
Alright, so our lanes are going to look as follows. On the side of DC, we have Session. He's going to be picking up that Sand King. Fenner will be helping him out on Disruptor. Go to Hell, for heaven's sake, is on the Bristleback. And down below, we have Deathraven. He's going to be running that solo lane Doxia. And up top, our final member of the team is... Wait, where is he? No, there we go, Blank on the Mirana. Side of... Okay, confused me there for a second.
Has Monkey King turned
Yep.
himself into a tree?
Yeah,
King hasn't.
Monkey King has turned himself into a tree, and he's just disguising us. So he threw us off just a little bit. Phalanx, is that how I say his name?
Yep.
Gonna be playing the Bane. We've got
Chosen One.
Chosen One. I can't call him C1.
You can call him C1.
C1, Chosen One. He's gonna be playing the Brood Mother, and then Doom Bunny on that Night Stalker.
Is this gonna
with
be
ACG on the V-Buck.
Oh.
And that's going to be... oh, how did we miss that already? That was bad camera work from G-Max. I think basically you should do the camera,
Yeah,
Prof.
probably.
Okay, you do that.
Probably gonna be
You do the camera work. And I'll try... My microphone is kind of like in the way of everything right now. I haven't set myself up for...
It's gonna be
picking up a very quick
anyway,
early
so
blood there. First blood.
let's just start off in the mid lane there. So we did actually lose the first player. That'll actually be the mid lane. Oh, that's actually a very good idea of how DC's going to run this. Running the Broodmother early against Bristleback is going to make Chosen One's life a lot harder. Bristleback has an ability where he sprays quills in a general direction, and even if you're invisible like Chosen One is on those webs, he's still going to be taking damage. Broodmother also does create like little babies, and they feed a lot of gold to the opponent.
100%. Yeah, and just up top, Puck, ACG, and Doom Bunny just going to work out against this tri-lane. We've got quite a lot of damage ability coming out from this tri-lane up top. Puck does have the ability with his phase shift to avoid some of that damage, as well as just travel out using his orb. So up until the time that Night Stalker gets that level 6, he's going to be a bit vulnerable to some of this spam attack, but he's going to just hang back, play things a little bit easy. Looking over towards the last hits, leading up the charts, we've got Brood Mother at 5'2", Monkey King close behind at 3, and keeping up with that Bristleback. He's just going to spam out that Core Spray, try and get some early farm, like you said. Going to be a difficult one for for Bristleback in the early game to try and make something happen, but as long as he keeps his farm up, gets the items on board, things should go to plan.
Yeah. It's actually a better lane for the Bristleback earlier. I mean, if he makes a mistake, he still can die, but in general, I think he's much better off. Down below, we have Death Raven. He's up against Phalanx, who's just going to be harassing him out here. Bane is basically Nightmare incarnate. He can eat your nightmares or your brain, steal a lot of HP, as well as doing tons of damage to you. He also can put you to sleep. And he's just a very strong hero in general, has very, very good early game stats, so can contest fairly well. Monkey King, more of a carry in this aspect, so you're going to be wanting him to get as much farm as possible. I guess took a bit of...
it looked like a little bit of action going down, but it was just Doom Bunny playing a game, trying to contest that top rune. Of course, those bounty runes, they spawn every 1 minute, is that right?
Yeah, it's every 1 minute.
Okay, so every 1 minute those experience and bounty runes, experience as well? Yeah, experience and bounty runes, they sort of spawn up and everyone tries to get themselves across there. For heaven's sake, quite low down here, and Chosen One going to put it on a little bit of pressure. That's how we're going to spot him out in that web though, and better hold for heaven's sake, feeling rather comfortable. A couple of stacks built up there, trying to get the last hits, but Chosen One just giving that little bit of damage. The Bane's coming in for the gang here, and they're going to try and make something happen here, and that's going to be a return kill. Phalanx going to pick up that Bristleback kill out towards that mid lane.
Yeah, good early movement there from Energy, bringing in their support, and just dives from behind the tower. Means that the Bristleback can't do a hell of a lot of stuff out of that. ACG taking a bit of damage up here on top though, but he is still fine. He's got Doom Bunny holding the front lines. So Night Stalker, I mean, name says it all. He's much more strong at night, so we start in the day.
Yeah, so that night cycle kicks in. He gets extra movement speed, a lot of extra vision as well, and then his damage spell does a little bit more amplified damage at night.
His abilities tend to last longer, but we are going to get the aggression here. So out comes the stuns first from the Sand King, and then from the Mirana, and that'll be the end of Doom Bunny. Right clicks do the final bit of damage as ACG. He's copying a bit of damage now. Session though is going to take
a lot of damage there from the tower, but not enough to really warrant him being in any trouble of any sort. Going to eat a tree, heal up as they return back to the lane. So 2 kills.
Not too bad for DC. Good early start here. They making certain that they're placing pressure on the lanes. But I mean, outside of that, I don't think they've got. I mean, Night Stalker's okay to get a kill on, but because he's not a primary hero for the team, he's a support, he's not going to be as valuable in DC in the early stages here. Bristleback, you can see he's starting to cop a bit of damage, and he's got another rotation in. Doom Bunny coming in this time.
Oh, this is going to be trouble for him. That Night Cycle kicks in. Those spiders going to town now, and the last hit, Doom Bunny going to get that onto Bristleback. He falls for the second time this game, and the rotations coming in from Energy, just making that mid lane ever so much more troublesome for that Bristleback, who pairing up against the spider alone would have made things very difficult, but with the good rotations coming in from both the Night Stalker as well as the Bane earlier on, just making things a little bit easier at mid.
You can see though that if you look at the last hits in the top left corner, you will see though that Bristleback's still looking good in terms of the creep kills, so he's still getting quite a bit of gold in here, and we can see Phalanx just facing Deathraven.
Deathraven having quite a difficult off lane there, sitting on 12 last hits. Of course, he does have that little ion shield, shell to farm up the creeps, but keeps getting harassed out of the lane, so they're doing a good job out bottom just to isolate him and prevent that gold farm experience gain.
He's trying to move some of their supports into the mid lane here. They realize that Go to Hell for Heaven's Sake is going to need a little bit of assist. Chosen One here.
You don't want to let Chosen One get too strong on that Broodmother, start assembling, getting the items together, so... Yeah, they've dropped down. Do they have an observer ward here? Yes, they do. There's an observer ward. They've also got the sentry ward, and that's going to be Varna picking on the puck.
Well, that looked like a solo or maybe only Fenner, so good coordination there to get a kill on puck. He notoriously did.
Doom Bunny, though, going to turn back towards Blank, but Blank got the support of Disruptor there as well to stay and fight back. ACG going to come back in with the orb, but going to miss everything other than the creeps. And now going to be in a little bit of trouble to take just a few last hits. Training out a little bit of early health after dropping down and coming back from the fountain. Session going to rotate in, but Sand King just looms and looks towards the top of the bush there. So this tri-lane working out quite well up top, getting the kills that they need to get, make that tri-lane work. You are sort of sacrificing a bit of experience by doing this.
Yeah. So you can see DC, they've got two supports here as well as their carry up top lane. So they're trying to make as certain as possible that Mirana gets off to a good start. Phalanx is rotated in, but unfortunately not enough to catch Blank there. Back to the mid lane, where Bristleback seems to be having a gay old time.
Yeah, he's been given a little bit of space here, not taking the harass from the spiders as Chosen One goes towards the Ancient. Looks like Bristle going to try and scout out and see if can find the spider farming. Chosen has returned back to mid. Like you mentioned, 60 kills, 60 creep kills, that's the head of Spider at this point. It's working out for him, making use of those calls, as you can see, to just farm up and get 4 or 5 creeps a wave.
Yeah, I mean, especially because of the fact that he's basically killing all of the Broodmother babies, he's getting tons of gold here, so even if he doesn't do well, it's not great. Now, top lane, we've got, well, we've already missed Blank's death, we might actually catch Sessions.
Session tries to TP out there, but way too late, and unfortunately, he's not going to pick that one up, so... Session hits the deck.
Eric cuts his losses. And for heaven's sake, Deathraven been largely. Sorry, Deathraven's been largely left to his own devices down here. It's kind of what you expect from a Darkseer. His abilities allow him to hang around without really ever being in danger. With only one hero down here, especially a melee carry, he's going to be able to do a little bit more. So the Iron Shell, the little purple bubble you saw there on the creep, that does damage in an area around a person. So you basically put it on yourself or an ally, and then it does damage around, a very small area around that person. So it's going to look pretty good for them. Go to hell for heaven's sake. He's got himself another double damage here. Chosen One is just kind of hanging around, trying to get a little bit of damage on the side. And looks like they've spotted something. So Go for hell for heaven's sake knows that he's in the lead here. And again, we're missing kills on the top lane. Rana ulti tries to save her as
We're going to have to try and get better with our camera work here. It's been a while for both of us since we've been in a Dota game in terms of casting or trying to get the kills on camera. So we're going to try our best. There is a couple of pings going down up top once again, but everybody's out of the position there. Chosen One just using his spiderlings in that middle lane. Thistleback has used double damage picked up. Just a little thing. Ruin spawn as well. They're little sort of boosters that you can pick up for your hero. Either give you regeneration, some invisibility, haste, which makes you run fast, and of course regen. We do have Session getting dived on up top. That ball gonna catch him, and that's gonna be enough for ACG to pick up the Sand King kill on Session. They want more, but they're not gonna find more because right now Monkey King in trouble, tries to get out, gonna be put to bed. That combined effort from
Death Raven and Venom.
yeah.
Not too bad. So DC trying to immediately strike back. They do get the kill. Although you can see Energy has started to pick up speed here with their kills, especially up on top lane there. Mirana dying twice has put them in a bit of a problem. Because DC desperately needs her to start getting farm. It's Bristleback though having a fantastic early game. He's already picked himself up the Vanguard. And the one thing Vanguard has is... Well, we've got ACG.
Oh, is ACG going to get out of here? Trying to TP out. Does get out just in time. Survives with... as I would say 10 HP in a dream, but I think there was a little bit more than 10 HP back there.
He wasn't really in any danger of dying. They got out just in time. Bristleback though, just going back to his item there quickly, he's picked up the Vanguard, so he's gotten enough money to purchase an item which essentially gives him a 50% chance to reduce a lot of early game damage. Now, Broodmother's babies basically don't do a hell of a lot of damage, and that is very good protection against her, so he can actually get even more aggressive.
I saw that Chosen One on his back picks herself up a Desolator there, so that going to take down some of the armor of the enemies. That's pretty much what that passive item does. Does a little bit more damage by taking away some of the armor.
Yeah, so you basically reduce the armor, and then your physical damage, it right clicks and all the rest. Basically, your normal attack does more damage.
For someone getting called back here, and that's going to be Bane Elemental, just stacking up those stuns from Mirana as well as SK, making use of the nuke damage from Starfall, closing things out as Phalanx hits the deck. 6 kills to the side of Energy versus 5 to the side of Damage Control. Pretty even at this stage. I mean, can we see the? There's a 3K.
Yeah, 3K lead.
Lead, which isn't a lot.
No,
I mean, that's not a lot. It's 11 minutes in.
Yeah, especially for the point of the game. I mean, the time of the game. And the one thing is that Broodmother does kind of fall off towards, as the game goes further and further. She doesn't do as much damage the amount of time and effort you spend for her. It looks like Go to Hell
rotations are going to come in here. Night Stalker going to come in. They do have the ability to bring down some of this health, but Bristleback so tanky, just going to walk through, make use of all of his quills, and look at the damage that Energy is taking, trying to lock down this hero. Pack going to fire out, cheeky little ball, gets 3 heroes with that, but not a lot of damage done when that back is facing.
None at all. And okay, so basically what Bristleback does is he sprays quills the whole time, but every time you get hit by a quill stack, you take more the next time he hits you.
They stack. It's stacking damage, correct.
So it becomes really, really powerful if you can do that over time, and that's why he is so good against especially Broodmother's babies in the early stages, is because they have very little HP, so he can just constantly spam out quills, and he gets stronger every time he does it. So he does basically 80 plus 36 every time he hits you with it, up to, I believe it's a stack of 6 or 7 is really what you're trying to aim for, and at that point you start doing crazy amounts. Journey down below is trying to chase Death Raven out of the lane, although
has picked up the invisibility rune, so making use of that just to scout out. Journey's been spotted here, and the rotation now going to come in from Damage Control as they try and lock him down. Do they have enough? They do. They're going to bring Monkey King down, which is a perfect kill for them. He was just sitting down, picking up some free CS, sitting on 89, third sort of position on that CS chart. Edworth Rise, though, we've got Broodmother, 25k is blank here, gonna get brought down. Puck and Doom Bunny going to town, and Session tries to TP in. Now might get caught out as faces 3 as Doom goes for the ultimate.
This is gonna be a chain feed.
Now this is gonna be a big chain feed as Disruptor tries to turn in, but getting brought down. This is absolute havoc here.
Death Raven's TP'd in to try and help out too. I mean, Tower's gone down in mid lane, but that's not important now. Death Raven's going to try and do as much as he can.
He's in trouble
Phalanx
because
and Doom Bunny.
Yeah, they're just sort of kiting him around here. It's 3-on-1. Death Raven up against 3 very low enemies, but they have the ability to bring him down. The TPs from the Dire side now need to come in. Does Phalanx get out? That
does indeed. Well played, Phalanx. Something like 40 HP.
That arrow almost just stopping the dream.
Yeah, as Eternal Envy would say, all according to plan. So he gets out low HP, but he does make it, so doesn't give the gold for his death over to. team there. 9-6 at the moment for the DC boys. Sorry, for Energy over DC.
But even in that big sort of trade up, the gold lead hasn't changed. Still 3k. So it was just a symphony of kills going down up top. Everyone's sort of diving and trying to pick up some scraps and putting out the kills each.
Yeah, so guy asking in chat, it is indeed Alex playing on the Mirana, and he's about to die.
Oh.
Time number 4, and down he goes once again. This is getting horrible for DC now up on top lane. Session trying to do what he can. He does get absolutely nothing for his efforts. Chosen One in mid lane gets the kill on Fenner. But Go to Hell, for heaven's sake, is still that immovable tank in the mid lane. There's nothing they can do to slow him
He's just
down.
using those cools now. He's just picking up that CS as...
Session does.
Session does eventually drop down. That's the Sand King out of the act. I was kind of surprised by how little damage that SK LT actually did out towards the Night Stalker. Is that because it's just a level 1?
It is a level 1, and Night Stalker is probably one of the tankiest heroes side, so it's
Okay, quite a high natural armor
and HP.
Yeah.
But for heaven's sake, I mean, after those early deaths, he's pretty untouchable at this point, I think, for the DC side. So they're really going to be trying to bank on him doing as well as possible in next, say, 10-15 rounds here. Because right now, with Mirana dying so many times up on top lane, you can see her items not looking so great. She's got basically a set of boots, gloves that make her attack faster, and nothing else.
It is a big rotation coming around here as Bane goes for the LT. Death Raven in trouble here, but going to get cancelled out by the Mirana. Doom Bunny going to find kill onto Death Raven, and now Blank gonna get forced out with the LT. Does it get caught by the dust? Yes, indeed. Mirana gonna fall down here as well. Tries to turn and fight, but this is a big turn coming in here as who hit the deck there? Was that Doom Bunny? Yes, Doom Bunny hit the deck. Now,
Journey trying to get himself out of trouble. Does have invis, so it's going to protect him. Go for that early Shadow Blade pickup. Gives him that ability. He gives himself invis, and he does a lot of damage attacking of that invis.
Yeah, you get a little bit of extra damage when coming out and back for the first time. So he's just going to run around. But now, for heaven's sake, he's going to turn and try and do something. Chosen One, ACG, DP's in there. Sorry, Blink's in there. Tries to just scare him off, and now going to be forced to use his ball to get out of there because Go to Hell, for heaven's sake, has had a nice farm lane up mid. I think pairing up against Spider was probably the best decision they decided to do. And right now, just going absolute, picking up the kills. But look at that net worth difference. I mean, Spider's still managing to farm out some of the neutrals on the side, up to 9.8 net worth.
No, it's a very, very good play there. As I said, DC made the best decision they could have by sending Bristleback into the mid lane, try and knock out the Spider. And that, I think, is... They've gotten a hell of a lot out of the Bristleback. The problem is they need to start taking, I think, team engagements now with him. If they can force Energy to try and fight them, then Bristleback basically stands in the front, dares them to attack, and has a ton of armor, ton of HP, and is very, very difficult to kill.
Yeah, they can drop down that Disruptor ulti as well, just to bring more AoE damage and silence in. They also can couple up with his initiation from the Mirana. There's a big stun though going down onto Phalanx here, as Session tries to get out, caught in the middle of all of this. Look at this. Phalanx going to drop all the way down now. Disruptor down low. Also might fall here to ACG. Just trying to get those right clicks out. Juking through the trees. Going to eventually fall to the ball. And Night Stalker trying to make something happen out towards Death Raven. But not going to find it. He's managed to get out. And that net lead sort of starting to increase now.
Yeah.
6. Make that 5k. 16 kills for the side of Energy. As damage control. 28 on the board. Still Tier 1 towers to work with, but now Energy going to put a little bit more pressure out towards the bottom. For those that don't quite understand, the point of Dota is to obviously get into the enemy's base, destroy their throne. To do so, you have to go via the towers, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Each of the 3 lanes, you can choose to go through 1, you can choose 2, or you can go through all. The point is to destroy the barracks on the opposing team's side of the map. Once you've killed those, you get stronger creeps, and that sort of has the inevitable push in, and you're one step closer to win. And basically, once you destroy the throne, that's it over, unless the other team forfeits.
Yeah, they can do that as well.
Yeah, they can forfeit. But up until that point, it's all about destroying the other throne. I don't know if do we still have anyone in here? Do we have some stats from Sargon at the ready? That's from Sargon.
Should be hanging around. Okay, so guys, I just noticed something that Blank has picked up an item called Hand of Midas. This item basically gives you an additional attack speed, as well as the ability to convert any beep opposing you into a basically just a gold farm.
Into a bounty.
Yeah, once every, I think it's a minute. If I remember. Yeah, it's about a minute. Marana.
We lost control of the.
This is bad, guys. Terrible. I apologize for my horrible
observing.
Yeah, there's Penguin having
Penguin's
a laugh.
laughing at us. It's okay. It's one
I'm just laughing. I mean, just having a look at how strong Bristleback has actually become. I mean, he just seems like to be that hero that if you let him get so much free reign, that he can just cause so much havoc for the opposition. And the amount of damage that he's doing and the amount of health he has is just insane.
I have mad echo coming. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's just my side, but you are right there. Terrible damage, and he's picked up a Sacred Relic now. He's kind of working towards that Radiance as well, just to get extra damage out all around AoE. Try and go ham.
Looks like we might have an engagement here. Energy and damage control are both posturing around what we call the Rashawn pit. As that fishing arrow goes wide, ACG's actually jumped in. He's going to try and take a fight here, but he's gotten himself into a horrible situation. Going to have to try and get himself out of trouble. As Session is caught in the sandstorm for the moment. They've already killed off Fenner, and Session will be stunned up there by the Jingu staff from Monkey King. The rest of the fight is actually broken down. We've got two separate fights. It looks like ACG's going to be caught out up top lane as the Session ulti comes through from the Sand King. Doom Bunny's going to try and run himself out of trouble. Does he get it out? We've got the Monkey King ulti. That's all the little monkeys starting to hit everything there. That'll bring down Session. Journey's also gone down though, as Go to Hell for heaven's sake only has the support of Blank right now. And as you can see, the two beefy, well, primary cause of DC still unkillable, especially Bristleback.
Yeah, a big fight coming out there from Energy. They picked up 3 kills. They did get answered back with 2 deaths as DC tried their best to fight back. Like you mentioned, that tanky Bristleback just going to town. But good timing of the stuns coming out from Energy. Very, very nicely played.
I mean, that was actually a very, very broken up fight. So DC comes out of that actually much better than they were going in. It's the kind of thing that DC wants. They know they've got this almost unkillable tank in the front lines. So if they can abuse the fact that Energy can't do anything about him, they can basically keep the others alive. So long as the Bristleback can basically take fights the whole time with most of the Energy guys, then the rest of DC is free to, you know, do chip damage on the sides. That Energy still keen on taking Rashawn. So Rashawn, once you kill him the first time, he drops what's called the Aegis of the Immortal.
That gives you the ability to just stay alive 1 time extra once dying. So it's pretty much a free life. You can play a little bit more aggressively with it. And definitely an asset that you want to have on your team side. So both teams generally is they generally sort of contest, try and get that that under their belt, just so that they can play a little bit more aggressively, push for objectives without the fear of losing your carry. I think it's a great thing to have. Personally, I never get to carry the Aegis.
Got a fight going down.
We do.
Looks like Phalanx is actually going to be caught alone, and Triage, they're going to leave him to die on the battlefield. Sorry, Phalanx, we cannot help you out. Bane goes down. Go to Hell for heaven's sake, picks up it, and Bristleback is becoming a real problem for Energy to deal with.
That SK stun into the Mirana arrow gives you a lot of time to just sort of hits and hits and hits. Yeah. So nice timing from them as well to just pick up the Bane. Not, you know, the most critical or crucial kill that they needed in this game. But, you know, kill's a kill and gives you a little bit of extra ammo. But now ACG answers back, a big dive in, and Death Raven going to fall rather quickly as Chosen One a little bit maybe sort of eager to just drop his invulnerability there.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so he's picked up what's called the Black King Bard, gives you complete immunity to magic damage. ACG is going to try and get himself out of trouble. Yeah, very almost caught out. It looks like they are going to leave Doom Bunny to die alone.
Yeah, Doom Bunny going to take a lot of damage, gets caught by Disruptor there, that lockdown, and AoE damage just him off. And Better Hole, for heaven's sake, actually going to be the one to pick up the kill. So has he got his Radiance now? Yes, he does. He does have his Radiance and his Quills. Going to town, getting him another kill. Look at that net worth, though. Spider just showing why, you know...
The problem is I don't think she's doing enough for this.
Yeah.
And this is the one problem with the Broodmother
Is that it falls off.
Yeah, when we say that falls off, is that the longer the game goes, the less she's able to do. Like, yeah, at the moment she's got a lot of net worth plugged into her. She's
High net worth, low impacts.
She's got 14,000 worth of items, as Gmax has mentioned. And the problem is that like she doesn't do that kind of. She's not 14,000 gold worth of problems, and now they're going to
try and do something here. Bristleback going to fall rather quickly, and quick work made out of that energy time. Teamwork. Now Monkey King's ulti going to go down as well. This is just going to be a complete clear up. 4-3 DC players hit the deck, and energy once more blank. The Mirana trying to get out of here, but Puck, ACG chasing her down, eventually going to pull out, and they're going to be happy to just take that tier 1 objective up mid. Chosen one going to be the one to get the last hit on that tower. Actually not. The Radiant going to be the last one to get the last hit on that tower. But objectives are objectives, and they're starting to push in here. Puck does eventually find one, and that's going to be Death Raven. Make that...
that's the Doxia.
That's the word I was looking for.
2 words.
I'm making it one. Doxia.
Okay. That works too. So Chosen One now, okay, so what they've done is Energy is basically starting to take out the towers. This means that they gain a lot more map control because DC cannot then wander into what we call the jungle. It's these areas over here.
Yeah, it sort of locks out your ability to get any extra money. You need to start committing a lot more wards. You can't get the rotations down. Sort of carries that might have been trying to get a little bit extra out of the jungle now can't move around freely. And it also gives the enemy team the ability to farm up creeps as well as their own. So, like you said, it's looking very good for Energy. They're playing their objective-based Dota right now. 10k net worth lead above. What's on the side? 24 kills up against 12. And we are in game 1 of a best of 3 though. Yep. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. If they can come back from this. I mean, it's not even the end of the game, to be honest. Not even close to the end of the game, correct.
But, I mean, you can see how difficult it is for damage control to actually contest any sort of fight when they don't have the Bristleback available. Because he went down there so early, the rest of the team basically cannot take any fights. They don't have, like, their beefy frontliner.
100%.
So, look like Journey's going to get caught out here. There's a whole party coming for him. He's going to get caught out. He's been dusted up now.
The dust is going to catch him and disrupt her, just sending him back to death. And there's a big turn coming in here as Doom Bunny comes in. Journey trying to make things happen. A big ulti coming in from Sand King. He's trying to finish things off there. Eventually going to get both of those. Does Death Raven. ACG is in trouble, but does have the mobility of the Puck there to try and get out. Blink Stick, as well as a Yules, and the ability to phase shift. Use the ball of teleportation.
Not going to actually drop in the Town Portal Scroll. I would have thought I might do that a little quicker, but just going to hang around here. He knows that he can cause problems, so he's actually gotten himself out of trouble.
And also not super low on health, so he's kind of happy to be up there. He's still got some mana. He can spam out a couple of balls. Does actually catch Session with that, so knows exactly where SK is. SK kind of knows where he is. Are they going to rotate for that? No. Then.
But yeah, so you can see now the way Energy is playing is because they've removed all the outer towers, they can actually start attacking damage control jungle. They can sit in this area over here.
Let's focus on those shrines, because that's kind of a relative in a patch that a lot of people might not have seen.
Caught out, he's been dusted up, so he could actually in theory go down here, go to Hell for Heaven's Sake is in the area, and Chosen One is going to have no trouble with this. He's going to pop the BKB, which gives him complete immunity to magic damage, and he's going to start running, and unfortunately damage control is no way of slowing him down.
But he is going to get caught. The backline there is going to get caught way back, and enough magic damage to bring him down, so that's a solid kill coming out for the side of DC. They're going to be happy with that. Broodmother hits the deck. That's going to be 80 seconds without their sort of top network hero.
And a big pot of gold.
Correct. A big pot of gold.
Again, that went in Bristleback's, offers as well, so he's be pretty happy about that. His next item should be coming out soon.
I see that he's just running around with the brown boots. Is that because with his abilities, when he spams his calls, he gets a little bit of extra movement speed? Not really that dependent on upgrading those boots?
Yeah, his ulti, every time he casts a spell, he gains an increased movement speed and damage. That's why he doesn't get the boots. But the basic ones. Actually now upgraded to boots travel. So this gives him a ton of more mobility and the ability to teleport anywhere on the
Yeah,
map.
so we sort of have that split push ability. A big arrow gonna land actually right here, and Session just gonna start his ulti, but Puck quick enough to get out of that, and that's a big waste of an ulti coming out from okay. Try and get himself out once again. That mobility on Puck, absolutely disgusting. Just playing games with the poor DC hearts as they now hunt for him. SK might run straight into him. He does manage to get himself out once again, and really just playing around up top here, just creating space for the rest of his team as they commit three. Are there 3 heroes? They are. They're 3 heroes up mid trying to catch out ACG right now. Puck just combining all of his abilities in Puck work.
ACG
Puck
being a
seems to be
real-
like the biggest troll ever.
Yeah.
No, it's a massive troll hero. If you know what you're doing with it, it's like bane of your existence to try and chase down. So going to get himself out of trouble here. Never mind. Sessions caught him again.
Session has caught him out. He's trying to just get that TP scroll from the enemy base. So right now, oh, he gets hit by the arrow and punished for playing so arrogantly. Eventually, ACG hits the deck, and
That's that.
oh,
Got a bit too clever there, I think, today.
that was beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. And I mean, GMAX just mentioned earlier that he was creating space. Essentially, what space is, it's like basically just keeping the enemy busy while your own team get up to all sorts of shenanigans, start doing damage to towers, and here we go.
Oh, look at the damage
Bristle
output
back.
coming out from Chosen One as the ultimate gets popped. KB Chosen One.
That's
Like you said, just got wrecked.
okay. So another item that Broodmother, you saw Sargon popping it up earlier. The Orchid Malevolence basically silences you, so you're not able to cast spells. And then what it does is it increases the damage that you take from magical ends as well. And Bane, because of his ulti, which does no, it's magical damage on the ulti, it's pure damage on the brain sap.
But it
means
gives
that he
you
takes ton more damage.
Ton more damage, correct. And that ability allows you to also lock down the hero so you can get as many hits in as possible without them sort of running away. And now Energy gonna have free control of the Roshan pit. Gonna pick up the Aegis of the Immortal. Gonna be picked up by Chosen One himself. I think that's not a bad call on him.
Not at all. He's worth a lot of money, so you don't want him to go down, because the more money you're worth, the more money it goes to the kill you.
Correct. We're up to 10k gold difference right now. Energy up above damage control, of course. 16 kills to 25. Not a runaway game just yet. We are 31 minutes in, and one has lost any racks just yet. As they start to get this control of the jungle, like you mentioned. See, they're running in. Bennett trying his best to just counter ward and keep control for his team and just create a little bit of space, but it's difficult playing a support in that sort of scenario when you've lost all of your towers leading to there. They still got one T1 tower up in the top lane, so hope is not lost just yet for DC. And like you know, I'm shouting for them right now. I had to play the other wall, the other side of the fence. I think it's just Penguin and I. I think it's Penguin and I.
Yeah, well, I mean, the DC team is obviously better known for their CSGO squad, which is probably one of the most favored teams. And, okay, got a hold for heaven's sake. That was brave.
You're very, very brave. He's just sort of dancing around inside there and been caught out by a couple of creeps. But now a big ulti coming in here, and they are going to town. Let's just see what happens here. Monkey's ultimate going to come out as well as Go to Hell for Heaven's Sakes drops down. Chosen One answers back onto blank. And 4 heroes actually fall down. Make that 5 as Disruptor. They get team wiped. DC are in trouble here. Monkey King falls down for Energy. But a very, very big fight for Energy as forces buybacks. Bristleback is brought back into the game. Disruptor's brought back into the game. And Mirana's brought back into the game. The Wailing Arrow goes amiss as they try and turn. Luckily for damage control, Energy didn't manage to pick up any racks, but they're not leaving just yet, so let's not call that one till the end of the play. Gotta hope for heaven's sake at the front lines. He's got possibly all that he can get right now to try and do what he can do in the team. And it's now just about how they can combine their spells. We've seen what they can do as a team if they utilize all their sort of abilities together. You get a good big suction coming in from the Darkseer.
Ooh, Bristleback caught out here. He
Yeah,
does not
this
have
is
buyback,
very-
so he's got to be very, very careful.
This is a big bad situation for him. His health is going down low, and now gonna force a big dive in. His Chosen One just going ham. Death Raven forced to try and run out of there, but gonna get called back in. 3 heroes actually around Chosen One right now, trying to just use that lifesteal to get a bit of heal. They're just kiting him around here, and the damage is almost enough to bring Chosen One down. And I think Energy kind of lucky to survive that one. There was a big turn, and they are going to turn back in here. A good combined stun to just bring that Aegis of the Immortal down. Fighter now needs to hoof it to get out of there. This is not what Damage Control wants to let happen. They're not going to contest it either. Not going to commit too much.
Fantastic play there by Damage Control. They ended up losing Bristleback, but the amount of time it took Energy to kill him meant that it became very, very difficult for the rest of the team to
Disruptor,
do anything.
just one more hit needed. Chosen One going to just turn and go ham on Blank as well. Death Raven very low, not able to really do much here, as Chosen One just going to go ham, running up onto the high ground, as just going to turn and burn. Eventually that tower is going to tick the health down, but Death Raven gets a little bit too arrogant, so Chosen One says, nope, come back at me. I've got my health still on, I can do what I want. Just going to turn some more creeps into spiders and just sort of keep that control up top. They can't get out of their top lane. They can't get into the jungle. There's very limited space for Damage Control to work with here, and that net lead is just changing, going up even further. 19,000 difference. Energy gets to 33 kills, and Disruptor Mirana still on the bench for this push. There's 13 seconds on Disruptor, about 40 seconds on Mirana, and it looks like Energy wants to try and put some pressure on these top towers.
They clearly are very, very intent on the top lane, not really trying to push out the other two. Generally, you'll see teams try to push either the top or the bottom, or they generally try to push two at once. But we're going to get another jump into Bristleback. He's got to go down very, very quickly for Energy to get through here. He is going to go down, but at the cost of ACG's own life. They've also caught out Death Raven right under the tower. He's going to get caught out and killed as well. 4 heroes in the grave for Energy. Fenner is the last one. Doombunny's trying to chase him all the way home.
Yeah, Fenner in big trouble there, as the last surviving line of attack sort of just caught up in the middle, and gonna allow Chosen One and Phalanx to just go to town on the top racks, get themselves those buffier, beefier creeps up top, and get themselves even more space. So they're just keeping, look at them, they're just keeping these two support heroes, the Mirana as well as the Disruptor, at bay out towards position.
So destroying the barracks gives you stronger creeps, as you call the super melee creep. It's got a little bit more HP than just the standard one, and they do a little bit more damage as well. So it just basically gives you a massive advantage taking out the opponent's barracks. If you're from League of Legends, barracks do not respawn like an inhibitor. Here we go, the good game, well played, does come out. DC has called it. They've decided that they can no longer contest.
I think it's. I don't think it's a bad call. If you've still got another 2 games potentially, you don't want to just slug it out and waste all your time playing against a game you don't want to get to. Let's switch things up towards. Oh, do we have a broken? We don't have Jackie in the chat anymore. Okay, Beetle, are you back?
I've always been here, silently in the background.
Okay, I have to try and fix the overlay quickly, because Jackie's abandoned us apparently. There you go. Are we back? Is everything back to normal? We should be back. Okay, Beetle, over to you.
Thanks very much, Gmax and Prophecy, for taking us through that game. Predictable outcome, I think. However, I think both teams look quite close in the beginning. What happened? How did Energy suddenly just pull so far ahead?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately what happened there was Damage Control was doing well, but a lot of their, doing well was in control of the Bristleback. And as soon as the Bristleback started dying in his Energy, you could see they started taking huge fights. So Bristleback does a ton of damage, and he's this, he's basically the tank in any MMO or RPG party. If the tank dies, everybody else goes down with him, and that's the problem. So Energy knew that they could just leave the tank to get fatter and fatter, and they made certain that the DPS, the player up on the top lane, the Mirana, made certain to kill her over and over, that she could never get good items, couldn't build the damage, and that in the end meant that it made life far easier for Energy. When you take out the tank, then there's nothing to back him up, and no to.
So I mean, let's talk about Bristleback a bit more. It helps shut down Energy's early game, and in fact a bit at the end as well. I mean, important to have a tank like that gives you so much sort of ability to stay in the front line and make sure that you can contest almost any fight.
Yeah, I mean that is what Bristleback is all about. He's about being the guy in the front lines. ironically, he takes less damage when turning his back, but that's exactly what you want to happen. Is you want him to get into the thick of action, turn around, and then start running away from the team. You basically want him to chase you, and you could see even towards the end there, the amount of time it took energy to actually kill him in that one fight allowed the rest of the damage control players to get into the back lines
respond, correct,
and kill the energy players.
But that's unfortunately, in the way that the game works, kind of building towards one hero, like you said, focused around just being a tank as opposed to like a pure damage output hero. Relies on taking a lot of damage to give out a lot of damage first. It's sort of a no-brainer that when focused around that kind of a lineup, that a team that has a big carry like the Broodmother in that game, for example, that just could get sort of a lot of space and get the items on board that they needed, that when it came to the big fights, that they could just sort of pull them.
But you could also see Energy knew how to exploit the difference. They knew that the mid lane wasn't going to go their way 100%. They got an easy early kill there, and then they basically left it. They knew that they had to exploit the other lanes for damage control.
I mean, do you think Broodmother having such a big gold advantage was instrumental for Energy in the mid game? I mean, in terms of progression, things like Desolator and Bloodthorn doing work and getting picked up early?
I don't think it had a massive impact in the game. I think it was pretty critical that without it, the Broodmother would have been very under sort of farmed and then not a good hero in that sort of sense. Broodmother does rely on getting those items pretty quickly and making use of your spiders to make use of the farm abilities. So I think that if Brood didn't get the farm that they needed to get, it would have just been a much harder game for Energy. But yeah, it was. I think they played really well.
I mean, talk a bit about the item choices. I see Mirana had a Hand of Midas. Was that a good choice? Also, I see that the DC didn't have as many support items as Ian. People like some of the Ian supports had Glimmer Cape, for example. Where does that play a part in how you choose to build your supports? Where who gets what items? How do you go about making that decision?
That's a difficult one. I mean, the problem with Dota and MOBAs in general is that it looks really bad for a support to start basically when he's got no items. But the issue is that because they're basically trying to fight a fire on every side of the map. They're trying to help up on top lane where Mirana's constantly dying, and they're trying to contest, also help out in the middle and at the bottom. It makes that they have to spend so much money on items that are basically expended the whole time that they can never build up a good bank of items, which means that Energy, because they're focusing on certain points, know that their supports need X, Y, and Z. And because the supports are surviving through every team fight, they don't lose any gold. They can constantly buy better and better items.
Also, just the pure amount expended on sentry wards by the DC supports. I mean, they had sentry wards on them for almost 3 heroes on the side of Energy. I mean, that's an exceptional amount of money. And as a support player myself, you can't get items at all when all you're doing is just trying to find a Invis Spider or a Monkey King that has a Shadow Blade. It's not fun.
What could DC have done differently in that game, do you think, to give themselves a better chance?
I don't know. I think the problem was that
I don't know what the end game plan with draft personally. I can understand that Bristleback, great tank position, Spiderlings, but I don't feel they had in game carry. They didn't have a Hitzer, they didn't have a Sven, they didn't have someone that could. I think Sven was banned out, but they didn't have someone that could carry them over the edge, in my opinion. So I don't know what the end game was.
Yeah, the problem is DC had a good lineup, but it required the early stage to go well. And because Energy basically primarily focused the top lane and made certain that Mirana never had money, she could never buy good items. Just waiting for everybody to join the channel.
We just need all.
Yeah.
All right, but so yeah, basically what happens is that Energy knew that they only had to focus on the top lane because mid lane was basically a wash so long as they didn't end up chain feeding in mid. And bot lane, again, you can't really kill a Darkseer with any ease. Energy knew that the contest would have to happen up on the top lane. They made certain that they won that and won it big. and damage control from that point was basically on a ticking time bomb. As soon as mid laner goes down, they basically get wrecked.
Basically.
MVP for the game. Who is your standout player for both teams?
I think for damage control, you'd have to say the mid laner, Alex. No, it wasn't Alex. It was Berserk.
No,
Berserk
yeah.
on the mid. I mean,
On Bristleback.
on Bristleback. I think for energy, I'd probably have to
ACG?
say
Pack played really well.
ACG had a lot of flashy plays. I don't know if I'd say overall he was the best. He certainly did look very good in what he was doing.
I think sort of bringing together a good aspect, initiating a lot of good gangs. Some of the mobility plays, like you said, very flashy, very cool to watch. Yeah, I really.
Right, so we're about to go live again, ladies.
We kind of just waiting. I don't like the fact that we still can't see Sargon's face in party chats. Is anyone else sort of distressed by this? That he's just like he's dead so still this entire time? Sargon, are you still there?
His stature look though.
I have never left. As you can see, I can keep quite still when required.
It's leading me. It's not tricking prophecy though. He's much wiser than.
I don't know. Confusing.
No, it's not.
I'm hearing voices, I guess. Idols. Talking idols.
We are casting the Mega8 Esports best of 3 games between Damage Control and Energy. Energy, of course, picking up the first game. Best of 3 series, and that means that we still have potentially 2 more. Energy picks up this one. We fortunately have to wait until 6 o'clock until we cast again. 6
Yeah,
o'clock.
that's right, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. And I can change to the overlay. Did I have the right one? I do.
You do indeed.
I do. Magic. We are in the hero chat. Pick creature select. Penguin.
Yeah,
zone.
it's the creature select.
Yeah,
Now,
creature
considering the
select
previous
screen.
game that we've just seen, right? Do you feel that Energy are maybe going to try and take that bristleback away from damage control? Do you feel that any of those previous games are going to?
I don't see them
What
banning
actually
it.
happened in previous games? Do you think it's going to influence what we're going to be seeing ahead of us?
If I had to hazard a guess, I think they carry on banning the big meta heroes. They're going to get rid of your
100%.
Necrolites, get rid of your Earthshakers. There you go, Necro's gone. Yeah,
The
that's
thing
much
with-
Oh, look,
scarier
there's
than
the
I
Lich.
think anything
The
DC
thing with
did.
the Bristle as well is that Bristle was purely a response to what Energy did anyway. So he only became that much of a problem because the hero he was up against, he has a natural advantage against. He can basically farm the creatures that she makes, and it made him look a lot more potent than he would usually be in that situation. Like right now, he's not a very strong hero. Just in that respect, he's a very strong pick against what Energy has done there.
Yeah. You see the Night Stalker's been banned out, but they pick up the Spirit Breaker. I like this pick. Spirit Breaker can definitely move around the map, kind of do what Night Stalker did to damage control in the last map, right? Just can be anywhere on the map, runs around really quickly, he's really mobile, and can really make a gank pay off really quickly.
I agree. That mobility, the ability to charge down even on creeps when getting ganged, very nice hero. And that RNG bash chance that he has just.
The meme, it's so strong.
It doesn't favor me ever, but it favors a lot of other people.
It favors
so-
everybody except you,
Correct.
regardless of who you are.
Okay, no, that's fair then.
If it's pity Phalanx is not
You
playing that
here,
hero, because when he plays that hero, I think he gets bashes 7 times every 1 time he hits.
Oh, you get those stack bashes. I've seen those people with such luck. The lotto winners.
No, they clearly do need
see
to
a
go
bird was
gambling that
selected.
night after those bashes.
You see a bird was selected. Winter Wyvern is the name, and Earthshaker, it's a couple things up there. I really love Earthshaker games. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so Winter Wyvern is she's a fake dragon. But basically what she does is based around a lot of cold, so she tends to slow. She's got an ability that also, she basically shoots a shard at one creature, which then splits into other smaller shards and does damage. And her ultimate is a target select, so she chooses one hero on the opposing team, and everyone in a small area around has to attack. All of the opponent's allies have to then attack him if he gets selected. So, a very, very powerful team fight ability. Earthshaker is, in China they call him the fake cow. So, his ability, ultimate, is he basically does an insane amount of damage in a small area around himself. and he often picks up a lot of mobility items as a result. His other most well-known abilities, he slams the totem on his back and he makes an unpassable rift unless you can fly over it.
Now,
So
if you
centered
were
around a bit of like crowd control, ready for it, Shaker?
Sorry, say that again?
I mean,
So he's got a little bit of CC.
He's got a lot of
available to
CC.
him.
yeah. So I mean, Sean, maybe tell us what the advantage of, or what makes a support, because that's one of the things, right? It's all about the ability to control other heroes, to lock them down, to stun them, to stop them from moving a specific way, etc. So maybe talk us through sort of what a support actually is.
All right, so I mean, there's no like straight up definition of a support as such. It's just generally just heroes are picked that they don't really gain as much from items as certain other heroes do. So, for instance, Earthshaker gains absolutely no bonus from getting huge amounts of damage. He does have an ability that increases his damage, but all of his CC is basically built into him. He doesn't gain a longer CC. He doesn't gain a slower cooldown in any way. He basically can function like that with very few items. That is generally how support works. They don't need items to still be effective in a team fight. Something like, for instance, the Viper up top. There's been a lot of debate, especially by one of the South African casters, Hellbird, about whether you could ever make Viper a support. And it's often been said that Viper needs too many items to be useful. Like, he gains, the more damage he stacks, the more damage he scales the whole time. So he has basically a multiplicative ability, which if he adds, say, 10 damage, he gets 15 out of it. Whereas Winter Wyvern and Earthshaker don't gain those abilities. I don't know if that's good enough. It's difficult to go into exactly how supports function, because multiple of them do still gain a lot of damage.
I mean, your summary is effectively nice control and doesn't need a lot of items to be useful to the team. So they don't need the farm that a carry needs, and they can sort of play more passively around the place and just concentrate more of their time onto helping their teammates, which is effectively why they call the support.
Another good way of thinking of it is just the word that gets bandied around a lot is utility, right? So because supports don't need items to be useful, they use their skills, they tend to just be in that utilitarian role. So they want to help their cause or their carry or their mid laner be more effective. So that's where things like stuns or making your allies invisible or heals, all those things just help to almost boost the gameplay of those main core players, your mid laner or your carry.
And speaking of a hero that can play in multiple roles, the bounty hunter often played as a support, but also sometimes played as a carry too.
Mostly played as an offlaner these days. A little bit more rare as an offlaner. At one stage he was a very popular carry. You'll still see him played as a carry in low-level pub games. But at the highest levels...
Well, that's where I exist.
Miracle pub games.
Yes. Yeah, I mean... In general,
the Timbersaw.
Okay, so we have the local lunatic of Dota 2. Terrified of trees, hence why he's got an immense amount of chains. High mobility, so he's going to be able to bounce around very quickly. You'll see him throwing out a chain.
High tank ability as well. Every time he actually gets his reactive armor, I think that's his passive. Reactive armor, every time he gets hit, he gets a charge on that, and that gives him a little bit of extra armor, makes him tanky. And whilst he's doing chain things and going through to trees, he's doing high damage output as well.
Very, very strong hero if played correctly, and also very, very flashy hero. Okay, guys, I do know the difference between a dragon and a wyvern. Dragons have 4 legs, wyverns have 2 legs and wings on the arm. So she's a fake dragon because we don't have a proper one in the game. Doom comes through.
We have
that
dragon
is Lucy as the ultimate called Doom. Who would have guessed? Basically makes you unable to cast any spell and take tons of damage over, I think it's a 10 or 12 second duration. Can farm a lot as well. He has an ability where he eats a creep and gains bonus gold from it over time. And I just
worked something out, right? So you said Doom Lucy, obviously short for Lucifer.
You don't know because
my brother, big Dota 2 fan, used to nickname my mom Lucy. And he never used to tell me why. And I think I've figured it out now. Big Dota 2, I just worked it out. I've just outed my brother.
Does that mean that your mom was like Doom?
I don't know what he's saying. My mother's lovely.
I don't know your mother, so I'll leave it at that. You know her better.
You should ask the local COD community. They apparently all know her.
Casual
The local
shade,
COD
right?
No shots
Community,
fired
I'll
at
put it
COD.
in
I love all COD players.
So I mean, it looks like to me so far, Energy are definitely got a lineup that's going to crush damage control if they stick together. I mean, Winter Wyvern ulti followed up with a blink from an Earthshaker. Once the Winter Wyvern ulti has gone down, Bounty Hunter to give vision. This is all
I agree with
just
you.
to make sure that
I will also, I fully agree. I think Energy's got a much stronger lineup here. Damage control looks like a collection of heroes rather than like
yeah.
team. Energy has a clear purpose. So each of those heroes does something in a team fight. Bounty Hunter, for those who don't know, ultimate, basically he places a buff or a debuff on an opponent hero, which allows them that when they die, his team gains bonus gold. So he can create an extreme difference in gold worth for his team.
That's a big pick actually from damage control here. The OD to just sort of negate the damage that of Timbersaw, because his orbs, they just go straight through that
pure
armor.
damage and
pure
they
damage
steal his
straight
intel.
through, and they take his intelligence
But
as well. So I think that's
the problem.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that OD though is, I mean, how are they going to keep the OD alive? I mean, you've only got the Oracle, and that's if he gets his ultimate off. And
Are they
also,
gonna buy
I
time
mean,
for
how
him
are they
to do
going to?
damage?
No, I agree with you. Coupled up
Yeah,
now
exactly.
with the Mirana
I
as
mean-
well to just use her ability, her ultimates to just get them all invisible into position. It's a very big lineup pick from Energy here against PC. I agree with you. But I like seeing
terms
OD.
of looks,
I think
though.
it's
In terms of looks, the Bounty Hunter and Doom were looking pretty cool there, but Doom has now gone and changed. So Session's gone and changed from his previous set, and okay, well,
you mean basically he took the standard sets and
He looked
added his
pretty
cool
cool.
hats. This is our hat consultant giving his
Yeah.
opinion on which team is going to win. So based on appearance, the team that will win will be
Energy, because the Bounty Hunter looks absolutely badass. But that is just my opinion. I mean, we've got
But you've just
fantastic
agreed with
casters
the
that can
draft.
actually
You've just agreed with the draft. You meant to go on the other team, like just for looks. Oracle's
So-
magic ball.
So that means that game 2, hats, and draft have favor of Energy Esports, and here we go. This could be the last game of this series. Prophecy and Gmax, take it away.
Thank you very much, Beetle. So it's actually so good to be here, Prof. I've had a good afternoon so far.
It's been fun. It's hot. It's warm.
It is.
Joe.
I must admit, we've had to open up a couple windows here because Prophecy's casting is bringing the heat, and my poor little house is warming up rather quickly. So we've opened up the doors. So if you hear the traffic outside, I'm sorry. Not really that sorry. We needed the cool breeze to cool us down. So Prof, take us through a little rundown of the hero lineups for Energy Esports.
So apparently, according to Penguin, our hat consultant, ACG is the best looking player in this game. That'll be on.
Can we get a little close-up look of him quickly?
I mean, he's right, isn't he? ACG is the best.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that is... Okay.
Does look pretty wicked.
He kind of looks like a Bloodseeker almost.
It does almost, yeah. We're gonna have Phalanx. He's
know
gonna be
my
running the Winter Wyvern here. We then have Chosen One picking up Lady of the Moon, Mirana. Doom Bunny is gonna be grabbing the Earthshaker. He's a bit shy, hiding behind the trees there.
He's setting himself up for a creep block, so let's actually watch this just to show the people. Let's show them there. Sorry, I kind of...
No worries.
Conspiracy was also there as well. Gmax just cut Prophecy off, like I do whenever I shoutcast CSGO with people. Generally what people do is they just hit me. You know, that's why Tiny actually has such big biceps. It's from all the beatings I get. So here, Doom Bunny going to use his fissure to actually just stop the creeps from running past. That's going to give them a little bit of additional timing, allow the creeps from the Radiant side to push a little bit closer to the tower, sort of give you a pseudo advantage in the beginning of the game.
See, here, there was an attempt made here as well. You'll see Blank's trying to do the slower way of doing it. The hero to block it. Basically what it does is it pushes the creep wave closer to the towers where you have a lot more protection. ACG is going to be able to play further up now, and as you can see, we actually have a very aggressive lane here. We've got 5 heroes in this lane. It's generally not the most common of...
Oh, but Wyvern's going to turn and go on the Oracle here. They want to go early, and they're just trying to go ham, but Phalanx is very deep here and going to take a lot of damage from that poison on the Viper. This could be first blood, and yes, it will be. Session going to get the last hit with Spirit Breaker, and they're trying to get a second here. Wyvern manages to root 2 of them. ACG and Bunny just gonna hang around for a little bit longer. And things looking rather hot and heavy down in this bottom lane. Up towards the top lane, we've got the matchup of the Doom versus the Timbersaw. Conspiracy taking a little bit early damage right now. He's just trying to get as many hits as possible, but of course also trying to bait out the hits from the creeps to just get the reactive armor charges up. Not quite sure if yes he does at just one level of that right now, as well as the is that the whirling something. What is it called?
Death.
Whirling Death. Oh, I'm like a professional.
Who would have guessed?
Not me.
Well, okay, so this lane, there's not going to be a lot happening in this lane. Essentially, you're going to see Conspiracy. There's not a hell of a lot that Death Raven can actually do to chase him out of the lane. Conspiracy, if he can play correctly, he actually has a much better chance of knocking out. So, along with just damage that the Whirling Death does, when it hits you, it removes most of your primary attribute. Doom is a strength hero, so he gains HP as well as damage from it. Means that Conspiracy is massively favored in this lane anytime he gets near the Doom.
Okay, now towards mid. Phalanx once again trying to cause a little bit of havoc. He's actually been charged now by the Spirit Breaker. I'm not quite sure if he's spotted that out. Berserk is trying to get as many last hits as possible. Right now, Rana leading the board with 13 of those things. Doom following suit with 12. So one from each team, as Chosen actually gets a little bit close. Yeah, he does get the kill. Also, just playing around with his HP games right now. A little pause coming in from the Outworld Destroyer.
Aura?
Destroyer.
Aura.
Destroyer.
Okay, but then it has to be called the Obsidian Destroyer.
No, you have to combine them both.
Is it?
Yes,
The
it's
Outworld
Dota 1
Destroyer.
and Dota 2 combined.
Alright.
Can we not do that?
I know at a stage he was called Ongoing Development because of the number of name changes he had.
Okay. I like
Blizzard,
that.
Blizzard usually comes by with a DCMA request whenever a hero has a name too close to something that they own. So there's been a number of heroes from Dota 1, Dota 2 that have had to
Dude,
change their name.
this spectator mode for Dota is actually quite cool. I quite like this middle button. You've taught me something new here. I'm gonna sit and practice the middle button so we can get some smooth camera action for the next Mega8 cast. I say next because we'll definitely be invited back to do round 2. You're doing a beautiful. In my humble opinion.
Humble opinion.
My humble opinion. Okay.
Yeah,
Is
so
that a bit of shade? That was a little bit of shade.
I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so I
You're
mean,
starting to open up a little bit.
Little bit.
You said to me you give people a bit
I
of
don't really give shade. I mean,
shade
I
to
gave,
people
I gave,
that you...
I gave one of my ex-casting partners a lot of shade.
Wait,
but that's-
Beetle wants to say something. I can see he wants to say something, so let him tell us what he wants.
I didn't actually, but I will say that Sean is not somebody I've known to hold back on shade throwing, so I'm not sure exactly what he told you, but
Maybe I
think
just
it
like
might
G-Max
be
more than I
not
like
entirely
most.
true.
Oh, did you hear that? He might like G-Max more than he
uh,
likes most.
Okay.
I'll take that. I'll take that. We still are paused. Should we look at a couple of hats here while we wait? Hats, by the way,
should
are
look at a few.
In-game
Actually-
items.
in-game
Actually,
items.
it's not a strong hat game, I have to say.
It's not a strong hat.
I don't know.
game.
Energy's got some
Yeah.
pretty wicked-looking hats.
Yeah.
Look at.
I mean, we're just looking at Mirana's hats. I don't know why we're looking. I like Mirana a lot.
I hate Zero.
You hate Mirana?
I hate this hero because
Okay.
for anybody that was around between International 3 and the International 4, there was a meta where Mirana could literally play every position in the game. So carry, mid laner, off laner, or support.
That's why I like the hero, because I
And
just had to
it-
learn one hero to do everything.
she
Now
had-
you have to learn different roles. It's so
No,
complicated.
the problem with Mirana is that she was in 90% of games. So every game you saw, it's like, and Mirana is going to be first or second pick, and she would be. And it's just like, okay, but she would do the exact same thing every game. So, like, it was really, really tedious to watch, and I had to live through that for about 2 months, and it's not a fun hero in general.
I do like the bow she has actually, the Pulsar Remnant. It's very nice. The problem with these sort of cosmetics that don't really make such a big difference is you kind of have to zoom in to look at them, you know?
Yeah.
I want big, like loud.
I mean,
easy to see
unfortunately,
hats.
because the pause screen dulls the colors, washes out the colors a bit, so you can't actually see how
How
fancy they look.
beautiful they are.
I'm actually surprised at DC's lack of hats, though. Lank's got a pretty cool one. Looks like he's got a face hugger on his head.
Someone wrote potato and rice on the map.
They did. There's a
Someone wrote
appropriate question.
What the fun?
What the fast in advertising?
Correct. Then we had TY. No.
This is
So
remarkably
interestingly
that's
enough, that blue line that
this
was
is
drawn
remarkably
down. I know
PC
that
for
is the
most
middle.
Dota games.
We have chips.
Yeah, it is.
Chips and rice. I'm a prediction master.
Chips and rice just seems like a lot
Right,
of
so guys,
carbs.
we have what's called the traditional South African Dota pause. At least once before any game of Dota in
Don't
South
say
Africa.
this about South Africa.
But it's true.
Once you speak about our country like this,
I'm not
going
speaking,
to
I'm
hit
not
you.
speaking about it badly.
No, you are. Basically, we've paused because we have to take in the beautiful view from the beautiful surroundings we have in this beautiful country.
Well, it's that,
So,
or someone's got food delivered.
Someone had food delivered.
I was actually I played on the Southeast Asia service when I was on holiday in Japan, and no matter what happens, no one on those servers would ever pause.
I
No matter
put you
what
guys.
happens.
I put you guys
DC
back on the screen while we chat.
There is actually a reason
I mean,
for that.
it's only
SEA plays from
Oh,
they have a very large, call it internet cafe culture, and if a pause comes
Yeah.
through, that means it's more money that they're spending to not play the game. So I can understand why there's no pauses.
Can we take a second to just ask Penguin what he's drinking from? What kind of vessel is that?
This is a giant. It's supposed to be a beer mug, but it's filled with water. Because water's a lot healthier.
Are you drinking
Is that a-
beer
is that
in
a-
our cast?
Is that a repurposed mug from the World Cup?
No, actually, it was a 21st gift that I was given in my drunk state.
Definitely
I'm surprised I didn't
repurposed.
break it.
That's a very.
I mean,
that
it
is a
even
very,
on the
very,
side, like a.
very, very large vessel.
I'm actually just still kind of
Neglect.
half surprised and half impressed that Sargon went on holiday to Japan and spent some of his time playing Dota 2 while he was there. Yeah,
All
as-
Dota players
as-
do that.
as-
They go to other countries to play Dota in that country to see what it's like.
And how was it? Was it
Yeah.
fun?
Well, to be fair, Japan has its own Dota server that no Japanese people use. It's only like the Americans and stuff that you find on those servers who are teaching English there. So I got a little bit of, I guess, US West as well. But yeah, Southeast Asia was quite cool. I didn't get any MMR though, unfortunately.
You don't go to Southeast
None
Asia to
whatsoever.
gain MMR though.
Yeah, exactly.
What's MMR? For those that don't know what MMR is.
That's your matchmaking ranking number. So in Dota, people are usually typified by their ranking. So a number like, I think Castaway is currently 7,000, for instance. Your average in South Africa, I think, is 3,800 MMR. So Castaway, who's a South African player, at 7,000 is very much in the top 0.1% of our country at least. But in Europe, you have people up to 9-10k even up, Prof.
We are
the
resuming.
average
We are
MMR
back,
of this
guys. I'm
cast
sorry
is
to.
about 1,500.
I'm sorry to interrupt the MMR debates. I just worked out what the number at the top of my screen is, and I'm highly disappointed that it says 1,200 when I heard what the average is. So
I think that the number at the top of the screen is the kills that each team has, GMAX.
Oh, okay, I understand. Never
Makes it
mind.
better.
Never mind. Okay, are you going to take over the camera work once again, Prof? We are back. That actually felt like a long time. Only, I think it was as long pause time as we've had game time. So things are just sort of. Can we get the? There we go. We got the last hits back. So Doom, he's kind of leading. Actually, look at the.
Oh,
He's not
no,
doing too. I've sorted it wrong. I'm looking at it and going, what's going on here? Marana actually leading things off. Blank actually gets another kill out on that bounty hunter as Doom Bunny now trying to put a little bit of pressure on Berserk in that middle lane. But Chosen One doing okay here. He's getting the last hits that he needs. 22 to his name Timber, following up with 19. And Outlaw sort of struggling here at the moment, just on 12 kills. And big rotations coming in from Energy to just sort of support up their Marana pick and middle.
So basically what Outworld Devourer does is he's an intelligent-based hero, so his mana pool gains, or his mana pool grows bigger the more intelligence he gains, as well as his damage goes up. He has an ability called Arcane Orb, which he does pure damage. There's no way to reduce that amount of damage. So if it says you're taking 100, you're taking 100 damage. Is known as a hero that can end up doing obscene amounts of damage, but he is also very much a glass cannon.
Yes,
So-
very much a glass cannon, so can get nuked down very quickly. Also, what's quite cool is how much extra damage his orbs do to illusions. So anyone that picks up a Manta style or anything like that up against an mage, that would actually be. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
does
wouldn't-
crazy
I don't
amounts of damage to basically kill them in
Isn't
one
it
shot.
400% or something ridiculous?
I
Sargon,
think so.
How much-
Sargon needs to pull up the stats
Sargon,
first.
give us the stats.
But yeah, so the Arcane Orb, also, whenever he hits you with that, he removes 2 of your intelligence. Sorry, is it 2 or is it 4? I forget. It increases. At the moment it's 2. At the moment it's 2. Sorry guys, I haven't paid a lot of attention to OD in the last few months. But so every time he hits you with an attack, he steals a bit of your intelligence, which means he increases his damage and makes you dumber. And that is an incredibly valuable ability to have. So the longer he's in a fight, the more damage he does.
Oh, there's a charge coming out from Session here, but Mirana dukes it out. Well timed there to
Leaps
get
away.
the leap. Just to stop that charge coming in. Of course, if Spirit Breaker hits you with his charge, you get
Stuns.
stunned temporarily and then allows him to hit you, which then, if I'm playing against the Spirit Breaker, damages me a lot. Alex in a little bit of
Flying over
trouble
the trees.
here.
He's got Doom Bunny coming in there, and Doom Bunny is going to drop the Fisher, and that's going to prevent.
Oh,
most of
Session
it.
with the RNG bash.
There you
First
go.
hits onto the Winter Wyvern and puts a little. Is it not a dragon?
It's a wyvern, so if somebody says it's a dragon, they're just wrong.
Yeah, puts the not a dragon to bed.
Viper with the sickest hat in this.
Definitely not the sickest hat, and I don't think Penguin will disagree with me. It feels like an afterthought to Viper. Look how big he looks. It looks like a Toyota Supra with a wide body kit, basically. my
And a
opinion.
spoiler.
And a spoiler. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so anyway, we have ACG. He's, I mean, ACG's job very much the same as Fenner's job in the last game, where he's just kind of hanging around in the lane, trying to pick up a couple of levels. Going to make a movement as soon as he can with the ability. So he's basically looking to get to level 6. That will give him the ability called Track, which is...
Track
as
is
I
that
said,
bounty sort of perk that you talked about where you get extra gold and
for every kill you
experience.
get.
Or
No,
just
it's only
gold?
extra gold.
Only extra gold. So it helps improve your financial situation. Basically, like having improved, like invested in Bitcoin a long time ago and looking at the current price. Yeah, Session now going to go for a hit onto Mirana here. Does manage to get that first stun as Chosen doesn't have the leap available, or might have it available, but
He's going to
that
save it. Doesn't
slow
need to.
movement speed on
well
big stun coming from Doom Bunny, big hits coming down as that Starfall just gets them one, and now the timing going to try and come in. Session getting that RNG bash onto Chosen One. He's going to use his magic wand, and Session going to fall here as Oracle tries to come in and do something. Is going to pick up one, but might get hit down here by the creep. Is going to get crushed by Fisher.
Very, very well played there by Energy. They turn around the gank, bringing in Doom Bunny, and are able to pick up 2 kills. So, and it is their mid laner, so he's worth a bit more than a support. They will not be 100% happy with that, as once again, Blank doing big work on the bot lane. Yeah, another kill onto 8. So Blank, the hero called Viper,
Is Viper being played as a carry here?
is in
Okay.
bit of a weird one. It's not the most common of carries.
It's kind of more a pubby carry,
Yeah.
if I must be honest. I've seen those a lot in my 1K games.
Like, he does get picked up on a regular basis, but he's more of a mid laner because he doesn't scale as well into the late game as a true carry, and that's just the biggest. But I think both of their primary carries, so the Viper as well as the Artful Devourer, need a lot of gold put into them to really be useful.
Yeah,
Raven?
Conspiracy.
Oh.
Unlucky for Doom Bunny. Not going to catch him on the right side, but Conspiracy still going to try and do some work here. As Winter Wyvern going to come in to join here. Death Raven in a lot of trouble. Doom going to maybe fall down here. Yes, he will. Conspiracy picks up the kill just with Timber Chains through to those trees towards that top lane. That was an easy kill for them, even without the Fisher landing from Doom Bunny to block Doom on the other side.
Doom Bunny did
They,
help him a lot more than he should.
Correct.
Right, so back to the mid lane where Chosen One is actually heavily out farming Berserk. Got 2 last hits, 35 of Berserk, and as a hero that doesn't farm particularly well just out of the start, Outbuild Devourer is in a really shaky situation here. So when I say that they don't farm very well, it means that their ability to kill creeps is not very good. So, for instance, what makes Outbuild Devourer a poor one is that he has to right-click. He has to basically physically kill a hero or a creep one by one to gain the gold off of them, whereas Chosen One has an ability called Starstorm, which hits everything in an area. That means that he gets to kill everything very, very quickly in an area, and Death Raven goes down.
Death Raven, 2 quick deaths in succession. That's not what you want Doom right now. I mean, he is playing up in the safe lane, but 2 quick kills like that, especially after he's been farming at a reasonably average rate on the scoreboard, is going to cost him a little bit of time as well as some money and getting closer to those kills. As I was about to say that we are approaching the 10-minute mark at 5-5, they go and get 1 more kill. So 6 kills to the side of Energy, just edging away with a less than 1k gold lead. At the moment, they are putting a little bit of pressure out towards the bottom lane, damage control, but a big turn going to come in here as Wyvern, a slow Session right down. The Timber Chain's going to come in as well as Session tries to charge out. This is what we talked about earlier on, just that gang coming down. The Arrow trying to catch up, but Session just moves out of the way at the last second, is going to stop the charge and TP to safely. That is safely TP to safety.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, so he got himself out of trouble there. That is the one massive bonus of the charge. You can either run into a opponent or you can get out of trouble with it as well. So ACG has hit level 6. He's now moved away from that off lane, the dangerous area, and you're going to see he's going to start focusing very much on the other lanes now. He doesn't really need to do a whole lot, and he's going to start things on Berserk here.
Oh, Doom Bunny just misses that. Fisher just missed timing.
It felt like a very weird bit of lag. I don't know if that was our lag or was their lag, but
I lagged on our side as well, so I'm not 100% sure. But Oracle going to pick up Conspiracy as Timber falls down. Where was that? Out towards bottom lane? Okay, they went for a gang out there. Now 3-on-3. ACG going to come in as well. Finna needs to turn out of here. But look at Session, just a big RNG bash out onto Phalanx, and now Session just going to try and hit harder. ACG going to focus round. This is good turn as Phalanx uses...
Session trapped in the trees by the creeps.
he's in trouble here now. Taking a lot of damage and going to have to use that charge once again to just get out safely.
Mid lane, we have a trade for the mid laners. Chosen One goes down, but Death Raven does get the turn. So an overall worthwhile trade for damage control. Since they are behind, you gain more gold if you're behind.
Correct.
In the
Picking
game.
up the teams that are doing. So, like you said, things are okay. If you look out towards the net worth chart, they still do have their Viper at the top of the board, and that's one hero that when he does pick up items can become disgustingly scary.
He's also very, very tanky as well.
Correct.
Naturally. So he's a major problem because he does a lot of damage, but also because he
doesn't need to necessarily build tanky because he's got that natural side. Doom Bunny now going to land the one Fisher. They are going to go hard here, and Outworld, Glass Cannon as he is, gets ambushed by 4 very aggressive Energy players, and they take the mid tower as well. So adding a little bit of extra gold into their bank, pushing their net lead just over that 1k mark now. Whereas before we're just sort of edging underneath 1,000. 2 teams.
Yeah. Again, you can see Energy focusing on heroes that they know they can actually kill with regularity. Fenner is going to be targeted under
gonna land down. Conspiracy going to come in, but ACG managed to secure that Session. Very weird charge here. Going to be in a little bit of trouble. Not going to be able to get out of this, and DC just throws that kill into the pool. As the big rotations now come in, Viper now comes middle, Doom Bunny down low, Death Raven in the middle of it all is going to eventually fall down as we get a weird sort of weird server lag. OD now going to try and land a couple of shots as Conspiracy just going to Timber Chains away. Doom Bunny is going to pause quick. He's also lagging, so it's not just our side. I thought it was just our side. Beetle, I thought it was you. I thought you were making us lag. Is he going to respond?
I was just deciding whether that was worth a response or not.
Yeah, I could see it on your face. You're just like, do I pull the microphone down and reply to these casters, or do I just let them dabble in their own communications? At least Penguin's always on the sort of scout there. Any new cosmetics caught your eye, Penguin, in the couple seconds that we sort of had free there. I don't know if you were inspecting that.
I've been watching this entire thing and trying to learn as much as possible as well. But I must say, Viper's looking pretty sweet with the like those purple like talon scales that are like coming out of his.
I thought that we were gonna agree that thing does not look cool.
I like the purple. That's all it is. Yeah. That's all. That's the only thing. There's nothing more to it.
Purple's the color of love. I still think that
Bounty Hunter still looks the best.
Red was the color of love.
Purple's the color of lack of love.
Is it? I thought purple was the color of royalty, and like red was the color of love because Valentine's Day said.
Okay, red is the color of love. I don't even know what Valentine's Day is. I've had these guys.
Have you?
I'd imagine that conversation is more like an argument with your girlfriend directly after Valentine's Day, right?
Correct.
Is it an argument though? Is it just GMAX saying yes the whole? And I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's basically what an argument is.
In a relationship, that's what an argument is.
Yeah.
Working out how you can fix it.
I think let's get some of the chat involved. If there's any hero that you guys would like us to talk a little more about, you guys are welcome to pop that in chat.
Let us know sort of anything actually that you want to know, because there's a lot of intricacies of Dota. We've got a professional here.
I wouldn't say I'm a professional.
No, you're definitely professional.
We weren't talking
he's
about
definitely not.
Yeah. He's a professional.
There we go. Sargon knows one.
Sargon, he's a professional on the game, not playing the game, on the game. He knows a lot about it. Sargon, you don't even reply when we ask you what the damage amplification is on images. So I don't know who to turn to when I need advice now.
Well, to be fair, I just wanted to make sure that we all were on the same page. A wyvern is not a dragon. I was researching that. Well done, Prof.
But that's not a dragon.
But that's what I said. He's an expert, and then you agreed with him after saying he's not an expert. I don't know. Additional.
Well, on dragons, the man clearly knows his stuff.
2 legs.
So wait, do dragons have 4 legs?
They have 4 legs.
Okay. If dragons exist,
so like a wyvern, his like little T-Rex arms are the end of his wings, right?
A wyvern is like a bat.
Thank goodness.
Would be the best way of saying it. It's a dragon-like bat. Best way to say it.
Sean is correct. Plus one to Prof. When is Prof ever wrong?
Always.
Are you always wrong?
Always wrong.
Okay. I thought you.
No.
I'm gonna unfollow
you should see
on
me in
Twitter.
CS:GO. I get told all the time that I'm wrong. Great.
Okay. This is not CS:GO. We are talking about League of Dota.
Is it League of Dota? I thought it was Defense of the
Heroes
of the Legend.
Heroes of the Legend.
Heroes of the Legend.
Something like that.
But anyway,
something in there.
We're getting back in. We are in game 2 of damage control.
Damage control versus energy. Is it the Mega8 top 16 or is it the Pro 16? I can't remember.
Pro 16.
Pro 16.
Pro 16.
Pro 16.
ECG on a scouting mission. Spot himself Death Raven down on the bot lane.
This is pretty much what Bounty Hunter just loves to do. Lurk around invisible, spot out what the other team's doing. He is a stalker. We've missed another kill as Blank picks up Chosen One. Now Death Raven going to be in trouble as Conspiracy going to come in. The ulti coming out as Death Raven just turns not in much trouble at all. Only the Marana, Chosen One, to fall in that little battle. So damage control trying to come back here, not let energy run away with things, and ACG once again just spotting things out. He's got the track out onto Death Raven, so they might be trying to focus this hero if they are.
Death Raven is fairly tanky. I mean, he's eaten a creep and he's gained the bonus abilities of that creep. It's one of his skills. So he actually regens a lot of HP very, very quickly, and it makes it difficult for especially these two. HGG doesn't do a lot of damage, neither does Phalanx. So it's difficult for those two to kill him especially. So you can see they're starting to pull friends in. And the Radiant have used a scan.
Oh, they are going for a big gang here as Doom Bunny jumps right in. The chains as well, and that's going to be a very quick end to the Doom sort of life. Which, tanky, you say, and
he's
energy
tanky,
goes...
but he's not good against the DPS heroes of anything.
Yeah, energy just goes... I don't think so, Prophecy. I'm going to squish this tank as Blank just works out towards top. They have dropped that tier 1 tower up top, but they are going to trade with their tier 1 bottom. As energy, 3 of their heroes just congregate towards this poor tower's destruction right now.
Yep. I mean, none of these heroes are very good at right-clicking, so That's probably about as slow as you could get. Timbersaw is a hero that is primary, does more damage around his abilities than anything else.
All Sessions, RNG Bash gonna just get him out of trouble there with Doom Bunny, but Doom Bunny gonna jump up and get the slam, just going to avoid those.
Death Raven's walking into another death. Does Doom Bunny get himself out of trouble? No, he doesn't. Fenner's gonna get that kill. Death Raven now on the charge. He's going to try and catch Phalanx, who has been dusted up. That means he is not invisible anymore.
No, but he is going to try and TP out here. Phalanx gets out. Can you believe it? That was fantastic play from the Winter Wyvern, not a dragon. Just get out of danger.
Yeah, that was flipping great there, actually. Winter Wyvern dropping his ulti. Again, Winter's Curse forces all opponent heroes to attack the enemy that he has selected. Death Raven is the target, which means that all heroes trying to run past and get the Winter Wyvern.
Get to him, just attacking him, and gives him those couple seconds to use the
there
teleportation.
There you go, G-Max. The Sean situation is solved. Illusions do 35% damage.
Thank you.
They take between 200 and 300% damage, depending on whether they're ranged or melee.
Okay, thank you. This is just what I needed. This is why we have Beetle here. I don't know what Sargon's doing right now.
Sargon's posting the stats, Beetle's just reading them.
Okay.
So, Beetle's like that nice kindergarten teacher. Sargon's like that asshole in high school that tells you things. The fight is attempted to break out here, but it's not really going to go very far. Phalanx just trying to heal himself up. Session and Berserk trying to find their way through the trees. ACG's getting caught out and bashed twice in a row.
Doom Bunny going to jump in and just slow things down with a cheeky little bash and change the pace of this fight. Look how spread out things are here. Prof with the beautiful camera work from above, as we can just see. Timber, look at him. Trying to get out. Look at him just tanking all of these shots. That reactive armor not going to save him. Doom Bunny trying to just get the Fisher out. Has managed to block Spirit Breaker though, but they're going to turn in on this. Doom right at the front of the charge is going to get LT'd up here, and unfortunately for him, that's just going to slow the pace right down. Mirana very, very low on HP, as Chosen needs to maybe look at getting back to base. They might sacrifice this tier 2 top. His energy puts on some, DC puts on some severe pressure to try and get some objectives done here.
Yeah, I mean, you could see there that energy, despite being in it's only a 2k lead, so it's very, very small. They do have a slight advantage in that, the heroes as a whole do better, but as soon as you remove the primary frontliner in the Timbersaw, who also does a ton of damage, right now Energy can't fight. So what Energy's aim is to try and drag out the game as long as possible, make certain that they can exploit the weaker team fighting ability of damage control and then take a fight. Session is going to keep the charge in. Chosen One, once again, he leaps away with Mirana's leap ability, and you'll keep yourself safe. So Mirana has popped the ulti.
They're going to go for a counter right now. Look at this big Echo going to come in, trying to land things. The Fisher lands as well, and quick work made of both Session and Oracle.
That's both supports.
Now look at Blank. He's going to be in trouble. Caught out as well. That's Doom also in trouble. This could be Doom hitting the deck as well. Just can't get out of there at all. Completely locked down, taking a lot of damage from Starfall, as well as the Whirling Death and the Timber Chains, as well as then obviously the crits coming out from Bounty Hunter just to add in on top. Not the biggest amounts of damage, but still worth noting.
Yeah, very, very good there. And as you can see, Energy, as soon as they have the full 5-man lineup, DC just caught at 6s and 7s, aren't really able to get anything done, and the 2 supports end up falling, and then the rest of the team also in the area can't get out of trouble enough.
Like you said, it was big initiation actually coming out from Earthshaker to make things happen there. Now Spirit Breaker caught by that Fisher is going to get caught in that Whirling Death. No, that's not the Whirling Death. That's the
Chakram.
The Chakram. Chakram.
Basically just throws, because Chakram is, you'll see, let me just jump in on him quickly. You'll see he's got a giant saw blade around his stomach. Throws that out, that then hangs around in the area.
I'm getting a big fight here. Phalanx, he's going to get dropped down pretty quickly there. Zerk actually going to pick up the kill. Doom Bunny is charged here and taking a lot of damage, big damage coming out there. The ulti dropped down. Chosen One going to fall as well. This is a sort of game of turns. As Energy now hits the deck with their heroes. Session trying to make things happen out towards using those charges. Just initiate out on the team. That's kind of their real jump in.
However, that's how they have to start every fight.
For basically. Energy, they've got the dump link in from the Earthshaker to get
not
things.
Only that, they also have Winter Wyvern who can drop
That's true. That's true.
That's actually another thing I'd like to point out, that Phalanx hasn't yet picked up a Blink Dagger, which I think would be fantastic. So Blink Dagger is basically, if you've played League of Legends, it's Flash, but about 50 million times better.
You can jump double CSGO?
Well, then you're shit out of luck, I guess. So Blink Dagger basically allows you to jump a certain distance every 12 seconds. And it's a great form of initiation. So you'll see Earthshaker did it earlier. He jumps ahead with the Blink Dagger, drops the massive stun and massive damage from his ulti, and that's how a perfect way to start a fight. Arrow comes through.
Oh, is it going to hit on anyone? Just glides right through all 4 of those heroes. They managed to spot it out. As that's a nice rune to have on an Earthshaker, the Arcane Rune, for sure. Arcane Rune reduces your cooldown by 30%. And your mana cost by 40%. So basically allows you to spam a little bit more if you do have a high mana cost or a rather high
especially
cooldown.
Good for Earthshaker.
Correct, because of his Echo Slam.
So, all around, Energy and DC pretty much bloodying each other's noses in these fights at the moment. Neither team is really able to pull ahead. Although Energy does still have a very slight advantage. 1k at 22 minutes is basically nothing at all.
That's negligible. That's not
one,
even one team fight.
That's like one tiny fight.
Yeah, one carry getting killed.
Tank busy trying to farm the jungle. So neutrals are an extra set of creeps, sort of like the jungle from League of Legends. You basically farm those. You don't gain any bonuses though. Unless you are Doom.
Oh, there's a big rotation here coming in. Yeah, Oracle. He might be focused out, but that is going to be the poor little bounty hunter. He's trying to TP out, gets eventually denied. He's going to pop on death here as he pops out of little astral imprisonment. Imprisonment.
Bubble. Let's just call it the bubble. Okay, so you might have seen
Bublé.
Something like that. You might have seen it a couple of times, guys. But OD casts, well, it's colloquially called the bubble, as he basically teleports you to a different dimension, and when you return, damage is dealt in an area around your hero, and then damage is. They try to help him. They try to give it to him to help him farm. And it has helped to a degree.
It used to be, you used to have to use that to steal their mana. Yeah, the intelligence.
But now they moved it to the Arcane Orb, which I think makes him a lot more lane dominant, which is exactly what they needed.
A little bit more sort of beefy as well. Yeah. Big charge coming out here from Session, like we said. This is how they initiate things. They are trying to get Session down. He is the main focus. He's going to just tank as much as he can through this. He does have Doom's ultimate on him. And he's ticking down rather low right now. He might just fall to this. Yes, he will blank and eventually get the last hit on it. But it was a combined team effort. And now Death Raven going to lead the charge for DC as they push closer towards the tier 2 tower. Doom Bunny with a big fish are just going to slow them all down. Session down very low. Death Raven as well. Looking like DC needs to kind of pull out of this. Ian doesn't want to give them that sort of chance. Chosen has used his ulti. Doom Bunny catching blank out. And now going to turn back on this. Chosen picks up a triple kill for his efforts. Mirana going absolutely ham, like you said. Death Raven eventually just gets out, but almost by the skin of his teeth. 3 heroes for DC fall down on the back of that push up mid.
Yeah, and unfortunately DC hanging around a little bit too long, getting caught out, and then having to retreat on very, very low HP. That allows Energy to just basically run them down with some very, very good plays there. Great jump in by the Earthshaker, dropping his ulti to just stun up 2 heroes and set up kills on both of those.
It's not always just used for massive damage with a lot of creeps. It can just be used like there to just set things up. If you can chain together a couple of stuns and just keep those dangerous heroes disabled, 3 kills come your way. You take the tier 2 mid, and now going to just back out. Let the pressure sort of build. Once again, they have got themselves up to 20k net worth lead. We were just talking a couple seconds ago about 1k.
Yeah,
so
well, it's very, very good there. 5k, not
5k, sorry. Did I say 20?
I think you said 20.
I
don't know if I'm getting...
I meant 5.
I genuinely have no idea. Maybe it's just auditory hallucination.
No, I could have said 20 because it says 20 above it, but I meant 5. I read 5, and in my mind I meant 5. I'm sorry. Cats, don't roast me. Don't tell me to go back to CSGO.
It's chat. At least it's not Twitch chat. Let's go.
That's true. We don't have emojis going. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Mega8, and this is Game 2.
This is the Noob stream. Yeah.
This is the noob stream. It's something a little bit different. Prof and I haven't casted Dota. Well, I've never casted Dota before.
I haven't cast Dota since last year. So.
Okay, so you haven't casted in a long time. We've got Beetle as our host. We've got Penguin as our
currently missing hat analyst.
But he doesn't need to be here all the time. And then we've got Sargon on stats. And we did have Jackie.
Hi friends, just an update from Steam 1 that Epoch 2-0'd Alpha Star Gaming in their matchup from Stream 1.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. So, is that the end of what's going? What time is the next game on Stream 1?
The next game on Stream 1 is at 6 o'clock. I don't know who it is though.
Okay,
because
you'll have to find out for us. No, you must go and look.
I'll find out.
Okay, cool.
I will. I'll go look.
Okay, getting back into our game here, it looks like a bit of hand-holding going down for the side of Energy. I mean, I keep saying the wrong name here.
DC.
I meant damage control. They are holding hands. We did talk about just how sort of oriented they are around this team-based lineup and making sure that they can get that early initiation and capitalize it on after that. They are going to pick up ACG here. Bounty Hunter, unfortunately, even more of a glass cannon than perhaps OD when caught.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
because
ACG seems like the designated feeder at this point. Check. Deaths. The highest death total, is it ACG?
No, it's not.
He died 4 times. It feels like he's died about 15.
So, session now, we hear the roar of the charge. They are going towards that top lane. I don't know how we get rid of that scoreboard. There we go. It's the Winter Wyvern, not a dragon in trouble here. Big arrow going to come in, actually going to catch Doom. Benny going to come in with a big ultimate and Fisher. And just not enough to save that Winter Wyvern. But they are going to turn on this session. Going to drop down probably here. Death Raven in trouble as well. He's just had to try and get himself out of here. But he is in trouble as they're going ham. 2 have fallen for the side of damage control. Please can I get little place cards because I keep forgetting the names.
I mean, generally it's useful.
Oh, if we have little flags.
It used to be possible that you had like little flags in, I think it was Reborn 1, but then 7.0 came out and screwed up everything again. So Volvo, please give us team tags.
Please give us team tags so that Gmax can actually get the hype casting right without forgetting what he's talking about throughout the game. Doom Bunny going to pick up a little haste rune. This is the rune that we haven't talked about just yet. It actually lets you run at max movement speed. Is that right? 522? 522?
Is it 522? Is
550.
550. They changed it. It used to be
Correct.
522 because nobody could understand why.
And you can move and you can move up as well, can't you? Like in speed.
Only one hero.
Bloodseeker can go faster than the movement speed.
And Bloodseeker moves faster and Spreadbreaker moves. Otherwise, nothing can move you past 550.
Other than haste.
Yeah. No, haste takes you far.
Okay.
Only those 2 heroes gain a movement speed.
Faster than.
Even then.
That's something to add to your CV, hey? Hashtag faster than haste.
I mean, say that Tin Bolt got to there.
Yeah, we could say that.
Honestly, that has to be the best name in all esports. But the guy who sets world records in speed is called Usain Bolt, or like he has a surname.
Bolt. Great. Yeah.
That'd be good. That's just like someone deciding on high.
I've never seen Prophecy so happy about something, but Usain Bolt having Bolt as a surname is certainly on the top 5 list of things.
I mean, it's almost up there with Bob Ewell's having an item in Dota named after him.
Yes, that's true as well.
So.
Is that a cheeky little Bob Ewell shout out?
That is a Bob Ewell shout out.
That's it.
That does good work.
Yes,
if only he could format his articles better, I think. Happier as fight goes down. Phalanx is going to start things off with the Winter's Curse. Death Raven is going to be attacked by his best friend Blank. As ACG caught out once again, he's going to be hunted down here by the Doom. Does the rest of the team get involved here? There's a lot of fights breaking out all in the area, but nobody really wants to commit.
Very, very split up here, and we've seen damage control kind of needs to focus one team out, and unfortunately Session here caught out on the wrong side of a fissure. A lot of trouble, so he's going to hit the deck. 45 seconds on cooldown for him to get back and defend. And it looks like Energy's hungry here to carry on pushing. Outworld towards middle. Yeah, he needs to get out of here because right now there are 5 Energy heroes make that and they're all pulling out.
No, they're going to Rush Pit, as we said. Drops an item that allows you to resurrect after your death. Very, very good hero. Well, very, very good item to have, especially when energy are to go and attack the base. You just want that little bit of bonus.
Sort of the headroom around being able to push through and get something done. So I agree with they want to get Roshan under their belts, get the Aegis to their name, and sort of just be able to start pushing towards that high ground finish out. They are close to just picking up the second game in this series.
I think they're on the way there. I wouldn't say they're close yet.
Yeah.
If something catastrophic goes wrong for DC, I think then it's close. But
when I say close, I mean if they win this game, then
they 2-0.
They 2-0 and they go. We still need DC to come back, win this game to get us to a third game.
Fender's been spotted by Doom Bunny. Does Doom Bunny have enough damage? He's going to have to probably drop kills. He does indeed.
Some would say not worth, but in Dota 2, always worth.
Always worth.
Always worth.
I mean, especially because Fender's like a real problem. So now for 40 seconds, the DC side has to be a lot less aggressive. So I mean, this is one hero that we haven't actually talked a lot about, Oracle. Oracle is a support hero, meaning, I mean, we had the discussion earlier. His ulti basically freezes your HP in time, and then for 8 seconds.
Oh, we are going to almost get this. Odie has to put himself into an Astral to save himself. Death Raven trying to come in and distract them. Drops the ulti, does Odie. And ACG might fall down here, but not enough actually to bring him down. ACG survives with a split 1 HP. I don't know.
Splinter of HP.
Split second
but
of
I mean,
HP.
either way, Blank is now the last one fighting for his team. He's going to be fighting under that tier 3 tower as he turns on Chosen One. Chosen One can't really deal with the damage out of the Viper, but he's got support.
Doom Bunny
and Blank
comes
doesn't.
in with another stun, but Blank going to just turn back, try and punish Doom Bunny. That HP ticks down lower. Finds one though, might pay with his life. ACG's hunting this down. Has found that kill, this Chosen One, and now just hunting. Make that 2 as Fenner hits the deck. The buyback from Viper as Energy just pushes on closer. Trying to take these mid racks. Or take the first tower, then take the barracks. And get themselves some stronger creeps as well. Blank trying everything for his team, the last man alive, not doing anything up against Conspiracy. Lots of stacks of reactive armor there. As look at that Viper damage, almost negligible.
Yeah.
Whilst trying to hit them. Death Raven tries to jump in there, using the blink stick, but not managing to catch ACG out as Marana's ulti saves the day.
So Marana ulti is basically turns the entire team invisible, can be used for multiple purposes, either as an aggressive attack or a defensive escape mechanism. That's basically there. And okay, so just talking about a couple of other things. As you can see, Blank, he does absolutely no damage because Timbersaw has just a crazy amount of HP. He's regenerating 52 HP per second until he starts taking damage.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. The reactive armor, as G-Max was mentioning earlier, it gives you bonus armor and it gives you bonus HP regen as well. And yeah, Conspiracy, very, very difficult to deal with for any member of DC right now. Most of them have to right-click him, and that is exactly what you...
Well, like we saw earlier, it kind of required DC to all focus him down. Right now, it's going to be Berserk hitting the deck, OD, the glass cannon, going to fall right down. Now they're trying to make something happen onto Oracle as well. Conspiracy right up behind, Doom Bunny there as well. Make that ACG joining the charge. Unfortunately, Conspiracy is going to pick up Fenner for his trouble. So mega kill streak for this Timbersaw. He's looking very beefy and very strong, and DC sort of not managing to deal with him anymore.
No, not at all. You can clearly see that Energy is basically starting to pull up and open a fairly large lead. As we do actually see C1 get caught out in the jungle there. Doom Bunny and ACG are going to be targeting Blank. Do they have enough to finish him off? He's on very, very low HP. The charge comes through, and they will be paying for their sincere session. And, well, Death Raven going to try, but out jumps Doom Bunny. ACG, he's going to try and fight his way out of trouble here. Is not going to be able to make it in the end. Phalanx has arrived, but so has Conspiracy. Session now is going to be the next target.
It feels weird for Session to just come back in on that. He did use his charge as well. He might be able to escape with his life, but Conspiracy going to make things very difficult for him. Nope. Make that a double kill as well. We've hit another pause. Viper has had to have a stop on this action just for a second. I needed a pause, to be honest. That was very, very intense.
That was very, very
We're
crazy.
up to a quick 19k gold differential favoring Energy. and they've managed to get themselves up to 34 kills. So in a very short space of time, we've kind of just seen how that graph has just grown ever more steeper.
Yeah, you can see like DC always like had it in relative control. It's only about 3,000 there, but this like whole string of fights over there is basically changing. Basically crazy land at this point.
Beetle, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that at 6 o'clock on stream 1, it is Aperture Gaming versus Goliath Gaming, cast by Hellbird and Snare.
Awesome.
That should be quite a good series.
Awesome, that's going to be a
And
good
we will
one.
Yeah,
we
that's gonna
have
be a
EXdee versus Gwen Squad on our noob stream.
Well, at the moment, NG has opened themselves up a handy lead. They are almost at 20k. They're looking very, very healthy at the moment. Conspiracy is almost unkillable. We did actually see a little bit of an infographic earlier. Conspiracy has picked up what's called a Bloodstone. It is an item that begins with a number of charges. For each charge, you gain a reduced death timer, as well as increased mana and HP regen. So the more kills you get, or the more kills that you're in the area of, you gain more charges. Every time you die, you lose, I believe it's a third.
You can also...
Yeah.
Can you use it as well?
You can. To commit suicide.
Okay, so if you want to prevent the other team, and does it also heal your team? You done it? That okay? So
G-Max with
yeah, no, not really. Every time I play Dota and I get a Bloodstone, everyone just tells me to click it. So.
But
I
do
don't
you
know.
though? Is that the...
Yes, every time. It's like when I'm playing PlayerUnknowns as well, and people are like, you can activate the turbo in your car, just press F. Driving has died falling out of a vehicle. Subtly hate the person who told the turbo in the car that it didn't have.
That's like falling for the modern day version of the Alt F4 trick.
Yes.
It is the same.
How do I fix this glitch? Press Alt F4.
What was it in CSS? Wasn't it F9 or F10 was instant
Something like
quits?
that.
And you could just like, you're like, how do I do this? F9. Why? Oh,
Why'd my game close?
why have you done this? But we are.
You guys are terrible trolls.
We're not terrible trolls. We are going back to the game. I don't know
We
why.
were the ones falling for the trolls.
Yeah, I was getting trolled hard.
Alright. So, I mean, you wanted to mention the shrines earlier. So why don't
Yeah.
you talk about them?
Okay, so the shrines are the shrines. They just call them the shrouds. Which
Like PUBG.
TwitchCon is on, so TwitchCon. Anyways, the shrines are these little objects that the team has two, and basically give them ability to go and gain some health and mana for a certain amount of time. Once it's used, there's a countdown timer on them. The timer is 300 seconds, so once you've used it, you've got to wait 300 seconds. Quite useful for team sort of gangs and stuff. Sometimes they take place at the shrine, the enemy uses it, and it's a big turn because suddenly everyone's getting boosted by HP and mana, and they sort of weren't expecting. So it's quite a cool addition to the map, changes the meta just a little bit. Everything that they do in Dota sort of changes it, whether it's just a little map design change or a little extra tree put into a juking point. So that's kind of how Dota's always been. Then they obviously focus on the heroes. I know everybody's hyped because there's 2 heroes coming very soon in an
Are
update.
they hyped or are they just angry?
You with the real emotions right now, you just tell me,
Well,
because you sound angry.
Go look at the Reddit, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, Reddit is a very salty place. I try and not frequent it a lot, but yes, people are very upset by the fact that there's no new Dota 2 heroes. Just
You don't even
yet.
need to put salt in your food. You can just go to Reddit once a day. About 5 minutes, and I think we'll...
Sean with the knowledge bombs. That's where you get your daily intake of what is the science? NaCl? Is that
NaCl?
scientific? NaCl? Not 100% sure,
Sodium
but look,
chloride.
energy gonna just take down one of damage control shrines. Just prevent them from having that ability up top. Once again, just sort of enclosing on their space that we saw in game 1. Slowly taking objectives. They'll take out the ward up in sort of standard warding place as well. Take away that vision. They allowing energy here to sort of just get into their base and get into their position that they're going to need to take the top.
So you can see energy basically postures, trying to basically sets up for a fight. DC, knowing that they can't allow energy to start the fight, falls back, and that's basically why if falling back. The wards, as you can see, are these little items over here. They give you basically it's like they give you vision. for a certain amount of time. You have to plant them, so you have to sort of run into these dangerous areas. There's two different types. The one basically just gives you vision. The other one gives you vision of invisible heroes. So it's there's a lot of like very, very important play around wards, and good warding can often win you games by spotting heroes attempting to you know, ambush you in the trees.
If you take nothing more from the stream other than our beautiful voices, then also take the fact that wards win games, because that's very important.
Very good. Wards win games is probably one of the most integral rules. Dota, or it should be. I mean, it isn't. If you play pubs, you'll never see a ward.
No negativity.
No. It's not negativity. It's just the truth.
No. Take it back. If you play pubs, you'll have a great day.
It's already been said.
No, take it back.
Never.
Prophecy.
Never retreat. Never surrender.
Okay, Prophecy is being very adamant right now, but we'll change this up. You just need to play pubs with me. I saw the way he said that so nicely on the stream. He looked at me with the death eyes and said, "Not a chance. I'll play Dota with you." I don't play
pubs in general, though. That's a problem. Right, so guys, Marana has picked up the double damage rune. I'll give you guys one chance to guess what it does.
Let me guess. Don't let them guess.
Okay, what's the guess?
Doubles the
damage. Can I guess?
Exact.
Penguin, would you have guessed that?
I was gonna guess triple damage, but I'll.
Okay, we're just gonna start the stream back again quickly. It's going live. Launching Dota, I'm sorry.